do it live anymore. It's fine.
Well, but what about those 5 viewers who are counting on
yeah.
us?
That's
Well,
true.
that is true. That is
Stu,
true.
have you found people to fill in for me and Chinny
Of
next week?
course.
Good.
I'm
Who's
gonna
going
keep
to be
a
it?
I want it
secret.
to
It's
be
a
a
surprise.
surprise.
Ooh,
Recording in
secret.
progress.
Top
Stu,
All
secret.
right.
let me tell you something
Top
about Stu
secret.
that you might know already,
Yeah.
but
Go ahead.
I knew that he wasn't going to tell us because
Of course, I'm
Oh,
not
yeah,
going to tell
how'd you know
you.
Stu likes
So
to
it's a surprise
withhold
for you.
information. He
Surprise
likes the
it'll
power of holding it.
I
So you
do.
gonna be
A
it?
secret.
Yeah.
Super surprise for you two guys. That's what it's going to be.
It's going to be a mad surprise.
That almost rhymed.
Definitely not the
Super-
two guests from the Continuum podcast.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Because they wouldn't say yes.
No. So it is. They probably wouldn't, to be fair. No. I think I've been pretty creative with my
Alright, so
choice
it's not
of
Ben
guests.
and Antonio then.
Well, it could be one of those two, but
Alright,
which
yeah.
one? But there's someone else. So
But also creative. And
yeah, somebody
All right,
else.
are we ready to
You
start?
may or may not expect. There you
all
go.
right, I'm starting. Yeah, here we go.
Are you doing it?
Doing
Let's
it.
start the motherfucking show, bitch.
There we go, people. Come on. Let's do it.
Welcome yo to the veteran gamers. Juju, Ginny, other fellas will tell you about every single game that we play this week. News, reviews, and an indie pick. Stu's story time and Ginny's game breakers. Here comes Duke with the soundbite saviors. It's the veteran gamers. It's the veteran gamers. It's the veteran gamers.
I'm not gonna get interrupted by stupid sound effects.
Hack 2. Yeah, boy. Switch
Buy
that
my
console
book.
off
Buy
before
my
you have to
book.
press
Buy my book. I don't want no part of your tight-ass country club, you freak bitch!
Hello and welcome to episode 793 of the Veteran Gamers podcast.
Yeah, 793. What's up, people? I'm Duke.
I'm Stu.
And I'm Chinny.
We are not military veterans, people. We're veterans of the gaming lifestyle, and don't you forget it.
Yes. And you can support this show if you want.
Yeah.
On Patreon.
That's right.
We have a Patreon page.
Give us some money!
I'm in the process of I've printed the t-shirts for Seth and Sealy. I
Wow.
haven't sent them
Okay.
out yet. It's been a busy
Nice.
week. But
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
let me just check.
Watch your
Seth's-
mailboxes, people, or your postal boxes.
Seth's in the US of A, so that's going to take a while, I guess.
It's gonna
well,
cost
I'm not
$1,000.
driving it there myself.
it's-
There is a service that takes it for me. You see, Stu.
No, there's not. Well, there is for now. Let's see what happens in a month.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can support us on Patreon. That's the thing you can do.
And you should.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
you can if you want to.
The benefits are you get a
And
T-shirt
you
after
get a
3
shirt.
months,
Right.
and then after that there are no. But no, you get
And
into
you
the
help us-
prize draw, don't you? That's what happens.
Yeah, and you help us keep the lights on. That's the most important thing. We got our Zoom to pay for. We got Podbean to pay for. We got drugs. Other expenses.
Strippers on tap.
Strippers.
I mean, they're cheap strippers though. if
They're
that
on
makes-
tap shoes is the thing. That,
yeah, yeah.
Tappy, 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 a tappy, tappy, tappy.
Okay.
Anyway, what's going on? How are people's weekses?
I'm not being funny, guys. I'm feeling a bit odd.
Oh,
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, do you need
What do
to
you wanna
sign
do?
off? Do you need to go?
Yeah, I think I might do.
Okay, I'm sorry. That sucks, Stu. I
Yeah,
hope
I'm
you're okay.
just don't know. I'm not feeling right.
Oh no.
Sorry, guys. I'm gonna
No,
let
it's
you go.
okay.
Though,
Get
'cause I
it
think I
sorted.
might
Do what
need
you gotta do.
Yeah.
Oof. All right.
Okay. I'll
Do you-
catch you later.
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, for those who don't know, Stu's had some heart problems over the last few weeks, a few years really, and sounds like it's acting up again today, which sucks. Because, oh, that's ominous. I wonder if he was feeling that way earlier today or not. But he would want us to carry on, I suppose.
I guess so.
I guess so.
Do we keep that in the show, Duke?
I think probably not. Let's. I can edit it so it's like he was never here.
Um,
I don't know. What do you think?
maybe we should do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I
All
don't
right.
know. I don't
So
know.
I guess
'Cause
I
he
should-
might come back.
He might come back.
We'll just
Hard
shall
to
we
know
just
what he's
crack
gonna
on
do.
and then we'll edit.
I
it?
guess we should just. Okay. Yes. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Stu had to step away for a minute, but we're gonna keep going. So welcome everybody, and how was everybody's week? Chinny, you got any week fun time stories to tell us about?
Looks at calendar to remind himself of what he has done.
Any health updates? How's your health? You feeling sick?
No, I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling okay. Had a lot of filming on
Yeah.
this week.
Uh-huh.
Just reminding myself what I've done.
Sure.
Yeah, yesterday went swimming. Went swimming
Okay.
with the Bab.
Nice.
She
Do you like the water?
She's just so easily distracted. Every time I go swimming,
Does that mean
with-
she forgets to like paddle or?
Like because when I'm lying her down to change her nappy, I say
Yeah.
kick, 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 and she'll kick her legs, right? And she's getting to the point now, and I'm sorry this is turning into a dad talking about his daughter.
Hey, I asked.
but here we are. We are a video game podcast.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
and I tell her to do stuff now. I'm like, oh, today, like before the show, she went into this cupboard that we have, and then she
Mhm.
grabbed the loo roll, right? You know, the spare loo roll
Okay.
that you keep in
Yeah,
the
sure.
cupboard for the
Yeah.
loo roll thing.
Mhm.
And I says, I tell you what, I need to stock up on the loo roll because we have a little loo roll holder in the bathroom.
Sure.
I says,
Yeah.
bring it to the bathroom. So she grabs two
Yeah.
and she walks to the bathroom. So she knows what I'm
Nice.
saying, all right?
Yeah.
And I say, like, put them in here, and she'll put them in there.
Nice.
But when I tell her, when I'm lying her down, I'm changing up, I say, kick, 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 and she'll kick her legs. So she knows what her legs are. She knows what kick, kick, kick is. I go in the water with her, and I say, kick, 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 and she's like, I don't know, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What are you
That's
talking about?
crazy.
She has no idea. And she just,
What do you want me to
because
do?
she's just so distracted with everything else going on around her.
Because
like-
there's so much else going on around her. If it was
So
just
much
you and
else.
her in a swimming pool, maybe
Yeah.
she would. be able to
Maybe she
follow the
would,
kick,
yeah,
kick, kick
but she's
directions.
just-
Okay, I got you.
She's just distracted by everything, like everything.
Sure.
Kind of like me, I guess. But
Well,
yeah, she'll but she's good at stuff. She's very, she's very clever doing stuff. And I know that every
Yeah.
parent says that, but she's very clever. She's
Well,
coming
yeah,
on
I
a
believe
treat.
you.
She's every day a new word, and I'm like, I don't know. She said
well,
I got
what's
a-
today's word.
I took her out the bath. This was yesterday. I took her out the bath, and I just got and she said it before I got it. She said towel,
Yeah.
towel,
Towel.
towel,
Oh, towel. Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
towel.
Towel. Wow.
And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah,
Let's go, towel.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse
it was
me.
like that.
I
Yeah.
need a towel,
She's like,
please.
get the fucking towel.
Nice.
I'm wet.
What
I'm
am I paying you
cold."
for, bitch? Let's
Um,
go.
Yes. So
Yes.
that's the biggest thing. We went to the neighbour's
Sure.
house yesterday to have like let's all meet all the neighbours, the ones across the road and
Uh-huh.
all this. And we were the
Sure.
last ones there to arrive
Oh,
because of the baby, and
yeah.
we had to go the first because
Sure.
because Rosa wasn't feeling it either. So.
But as soon as you come in, everybody's like, "Oh my god, what
Yeah.
a cute baby!"
yeah, so
presumably.
and they all understand, but they're all retired and old, and
Oh yeah, sure.
so like
Well, they need some young people around to
it's
make
like
them feel more.
it's like death becomes her
Bouncy.
on my neighbours.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
sure.
mean? They're just feeding off my youth. I came out 10 years older.
like the substance.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's
Also, congratulations to Steve Pemberton. He's got a date lined up.
Yeah, so that's what we do now. We just announce other people's news.
We
Uh,
talk about towels and kicking.
So if you've got news this week
announcing-
that you
yeah.
want to put into the
What's
chat,
going on? It doesn't have to be video game related. In fact, it shouldn't be.
have we ever done a show just me and you, Duke?
I can't think of one. I feel like we always have someone sub in if Stu's not around.
Hmm.
But there's a first time for everything.
How was your week, Eric?
My week was pretty good. I got the student teacher. I don't know if I've mentioned him, but he's doing a good job.
You have mentioned him,
And on
actually.
Friday, at the end of the day, he got observed, so he was all nervous about that. But it went really well. He's doing a good job, like planning stuff, and he's very hard on himself. So a lot of my job is telling him what he's doing well, and just asking a lot of questions about how he might approach this or that, and giving him, he does stuff a certain way that's often different than how I do it. Not because it's not the best way to go about it, but because I've done that stuff in the past, like giving students the benefit of the doubt and, asking people stuff like, hey, what if we do things like this and then like that? Does that sound good to you all? And, you know, he's doing that in order to build consensus, basically. He
Yeah.
wants to make sure the students are on board with it. And I'm like, if they don't like it, they can fucking get the fuck out. I don't give a fuck.
That's
So,
that's because
I'm just like,
you've got many scars on your Duke.
I've got many scars. I've
Yeah.
been through the decades in the
Yeah,
trenches. So,
yeah.
but I mean, whatever. Like, it's good. It's good for him to remind me of the kind of teacher I used to be, and it's
Yeah.
good for me to
A
give
good
him
one.
that. Yeah, exactly. It's good for me to give him that perspective of like, here's where you're headed, man.
Yeah.
Totally jaded. Totally
it's like the
defeated.
photo of that kid that like before he went to Vietnam and then
Oh
after he
yeah,
went,
totally.
and you
Oh,
just
absolutely.
can't
I am the after photo.
yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
But you know, he's doing good work, and I have less stuff on my plate now. For a while, it felt like it was about even because he was taking things off my plate, but there was a lot I had to do to kind of get him up to speed. But now he's sort of coasting on his own, and he doesn't really need me to do much for him. So, yeah, I have fewer papers to grade, and I have more time to grade them in.
Wow.
So it's remarkable how much of a little shift of him taking 2 of my 6 classes. It's really completely changed the way I think about a school day. So,
Yeah. There you are.
Yeah. and we're doing Grendel, which is my favorite unit in the advanced placement class. So
Sure.
it's a fun book.
Side note, Duke, before we get into podcasts,
Yes.
have you seen the show Severance?
I have not, but I've been told I need to because I like
Very
Adam
good.
Scott. I've heard so many good things about it. It's on Apple Plus here, and the Duchess and I don't have Apple Plus. We were about to cancel our Amazon because we just watched I Am a Virgo again, which was the show we bought that for, that and Fallout. But we're gonna get Apple Plus and then watch as much as we
binge out
can
on
on
the
that binge
Well,
out exactly.
can I bump Severance quite high on that list, please? If that's okay.
You can tell me to bump it high, but that's not necessarily gonna.
No,
bump it
I
high.
want to physically bump it up on the list. Wherever
You can
list.
try, but there's no way that's going to happen because you're not the only person or factor in that process.
No, you're not understanding how this works, Eric. I'm going to do that in your brain. I'm going to bump it up.
Okay, go ahead. Do it, and we'll see what happens.
I can't do it now. That's just stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, well, I was
No,
all
it's-
set
it's-
to do a thing, and then you decided not to play along. So what the fuck?
It's an interesting show. It's very
No, that's what I
very
hear.
well
I'm
made.
Very curious to see it. Yeah.
It's not sustainable because it costs like $18 million an episode or something
Yeah,
like that.
well,
But
sure.
I look forward to it getting cancelled. Fantastic. But very good. Very good. Ben Stiller doing a good job. Ben Stiller.
Sure.
Bless him.
Absolutely. That's what I hear.
All right. Talk
Should
about
we do video games?
talk about games, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Where are you going? Story time's over, isn't it?
What you been playing?
What you been playing? What you been playing?
Okay. Update for you, Duke.
Yes.
There's no way Stu's coming back on this show tonight
Okay.
because he's gone to A&E,
Oh no.
which I think he's just
Well,
like, you know,
Letting us know.
making sure that
I hope he's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
no
just
doubt.
it's me and thee.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, right. let's
So,
go.
video games. Am I
games.
going first? I think I have more, so I guess I should go first.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Do that.
So, here's the thing with Block Blast, and I know people are probably sick of hearing me talking about it. I'm kind of sick of talking about it. But they do these I guess it's like a week, maybe. I don't know how often they update it, but they'll do okay, last week it was a bird, right? And it's this dot by dot picture, and each dot is a level, right? Okay, so every time you clear a level, it'll fill in one of the dots in the
Oh, yeah.
bird, and you gotta fill up all the dots in the bird in order to get a trophy.
Yeah.
And I have been taking this game as okay, it's a thing to do casually once in a while, while I'm waiting for, my toaster strudel to get done in the toaster or whatever.
Mhm.
And I wasn't getting near this trophy. So this week, when it came around, adventure mode, you have 6 days and 12 hours or whatever.
Mhm.
I was like, all right, I'm getting this trophy, goddammit. I'm getting the trophy.
Oh boy.
And I am. I'm making good progress. I'm gonna get it. It's not gonna be tough. But here's the thing: in between every level, you got these ads.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know how long it's been since you played a mobile game, Chinny, but
I know the kind of ads you mean though, like the.
But here's the thing, though. It's not just the ad. First of all, there's 3 ads. One is town shit, which like nobody wants to play this stupid town shit game. Fuck off. One is Royal Flip or whatever the fuck it is. It's the king and he's being crushed against nails or whatever. and you're like,
Like a
help!
physics,
And it's like
physics
fail.
game,
Yeah. And then there's this stupid ass lady with her fucking baby who's freezing to death, and she's like, and she's cutting a tomato and it's got worms and shit in it. And it's like, I don't care about you or your stupid freezing kid, lady. Fuck off. So you hit the X to make it go away, right?
Yeah.
But what that does is it brings up
The
the
App
App Store.
The App Store. Yeah.
And then you have to hit done, and then you go back, and then you hit X again. So you gotta hit 3 things to make the ad go away. It's like, fuck off. I'm
they-
okay with watching an ad.
They try and trick you into clicking. You know, they hide
Yeah.
some
Oh,
of them
yeah.
hide the X to cross it off. and
They
all that.
hide the X. It'll say your app needs to be updated, but that's just another button for you to click to see it. It's just like, damn, if y'all are that desperate. And now it's like, oh, aren't you sick of games where the game looks nothing like the ad? Well, I finally found a game that's just like the ad. And you know that means the game is nothing like the ad. Like, god damn, every accusation is a confession.
Yeah.
So anyway, that said, this game is I'm like 10 levels away from getting the trophy already. So I've just been playing this game a lot.
So
And
it's basically
it's very addictive.
The game Block Blast is it's basically Tetris, but you're in a square, aren't you? Rather than
Yeah, it's Tetris, you're in a square. It's not all, tetrominoes are 4, blocks.
Yeah, there's a few new
4 in a
shapes.
row.
Isn't there? Yeah.
There are new shapes, and there's more than just 4. So there's a 3x3 block. And if you aren't ready for that 3x3 block, you're just like, fuck,
Okay.
because you got it. If you can't place it, then you're fucked.
Yeah.
So it's this thing where sometimes you really vibe with it. Like I clear the board, and then they give you a 3x3 block, and then another 3x3 block, and then a 2x3 block. And the board is, let's see, that would be 8 blocks wide. I should know that by now. So you get a 3x3, a 3x3, and a 2x3.
You can't
You just
rotate
zoop.
them by the looks of
You
it.
can't rotate nothing, and they don't move. Once they're down, they're down. So like in the screen, if they got some stuff in the corner that's 1 block, you're fucked. You got to clear everything else out along the way.
Can you pay for the game to get rid of the ads?
No, I don't think you can. I don't see a way to do it. Like if it's possible, I don't know how it works. So I couldn't find a way to do it. And it makes sense. If they're making more money off ads, then they don't want you to pay to get the ads to go away, because that's not as much money. So anyway, it's very addictive. And the ads, of course, then there's like Temu. Do you know Temu? Just
Temu.
an online store, Temu, whatever the fuck it's called.
It's like the joke is, say you've got something that's like it's like the I can make this Big Mac at home joke, the Eddie Murphy joke, but like it's the Temu version of Lara Croft or whatever. Like,
Sure.
So it's kind
Right.
of that.
So it's like, that's another one I'm sick of seeing. It's like, buy this, and it's like, I don't want to buy nothing.
Yep.
So anyway, but it's a really fun game. It's very well made. It's got its hooks in me. And so again, sometimes you vibe because it'll be like, you get the pieces that you need and you're like, yeah. And it's easy to feel like, okay, I'm playing this well because these pieces came along and I got the exact right spot to put them in, right? There's a T opening and there's a T-shaped block. Everyone knows play Tetris, the T block. And it's rotated to the right, and it's exactly how I need it. And then sometimes it's like you're praying for a long up and down block because you've got that valley, and it doesn't show up, and you get the 3x3 instead, and you're just like, fuck! And it's just unlucky. So whatever. But it's really fun. It's perfect for, you have 3 minutes. The Duchess is almost ready to go to dinner or stuff, and I'll just be okay. I'll play a couple rounds of Block Blast. So it's great. I'm loving it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Blast.
How about you, Michael? What have you been playing?
Hello. I've been playing. I've been playing a game at work.
Oh yeah. Instead of working.
Instead of working. It was forced upon me by Jamie. Jamie, who does all our art.
He does our animations and art. Yeah. I was drinking out of a Jamie mug this morning.
By the way, new art and animation coming to the stream.
Oh snap! Watch for that, people.
So
Here it comes.
Jamie has been busy redesigning all of our stream art.
Okay.
And the
See
reason
you, Jamie. Thank you.
and then once I've got that, I'm gonna go through it with you, Duke, and set it up on your OBS so it all
That's
looks
right.
the same.
Yeah. Although I've been told I don't need to bother doing it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Earlier tonight, we've been told that we don't need to do anything. Yes. So anyway, Jamie says, "Oh, Mike, have you ever played Mario Wonder?" And I said, "No." And me and Jamie are big Mario fanboys, so we are playing Mario Wonder co-op at work. So I don't own it. I'm sort of playing it with him.
Okay.
So yeah, it's the latest Mario game, I suppose.
Okay.
And
this is on the Switch, I assume?
This is on the Switch, and
Yeah.
it's the reason why this one is quite different is because you've got the new Super Mario Brothers series,
Okay.
which come out on like the Wii and the Wii U and everything. But the
Mhm.
reason why this one is so different is because they've totally changed the physics and the animations, and they're breaking sort of rules.
New
that-
physics, like you float up now?
Well, there's
instead of
there's
landing
just
on the
lots
ground?
of weird things that a 2D Mario game has never really done.
Okay.
So, for example, like when you go into a pipe with classic Mario, always going into
Du-dum,
pipe,
du-dum, du-dum.
like he will, sometimes his hat will fly off, then he'll go back and grab it. So there's like weird little
okay, I got you.
animation, and
All right.
it's all 3D models, but it's a different style to the new Super Mario. The new
okay.
Super Mario Brothers engine is a lot slippier and slidier, whereas this one feels tighter. And I said to Jamie,
Okay.
it's kind of weird now because we are now playing like a video game that is made by probably people our age. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
Sure.
so because there's like a ton of references and little things, and Jamie's
Yeah.
like, oh, I remember that. I'm like, the
Mm.
reason why you're connecting with this so hard is because this is probably made by someone who's in their 30s, 40s,
Right. Who
and
grew up playing
who
the original?
played all the games that we played when we were kids.
Yeah.
So they're getting
Sure.
the same inspirations, the same kick of doing all that.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's and you can play as pretty much all the cast of characters. You can play as Mario, Luigi, Toadstool,
Sure.
Princess Peach, Daisy.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So yeah, and it's I think it's 4-player co-op, and there's
Okay.
a few different things that this game does. First of all, the flowers talk to you in this game. They go, "Hey, Mario!" Like
Yeah.
literally just go, "Hey," right? Which is fucking weird, proper weird.
Yes.
There's
it is
also
weird.
you're collecting seeds throughout the game. That's sort of like the currency in the game.
Okay.
You can collect like caps, and caps are kind of like power-ups that you can
Okay.
have. So you can see one on the screen now, and it's this double jump. So if you click jump and then jump
I
against the
gotcha.
wall, you sort of boost back up,
Yeah.
and that's like a
Sure.
cap. That's an extra thing that you can do.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and you can see the flower like talking there. So you see the speech bubbles.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't hear it, but like they're
Right.
literally saying those things that you can read.
Sure.
Some of the flowers and some of the scenery sing to you as you're playing the game.
Okay.
They're just there's a full on
Interesting.
like musical level. Never been
Yeah.
done, not to my knowledge, in the Mario game.
Mm,
And
yeah,
then you get
right.
these wonder seeds, and the wonder seeds is basically LSD, right? So
Wha-
it
Okay.
turns everything fucking trippy. All the pipes start wiggling around, walking.
Yeah.
Everything starts talking to you. You took a drug and there you're just tripping off balls,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And you've got the typical overworld, and you unlock levels with seeds. So it isn't doing. I suppose the overall, theme of this is do a world,
Yeah.
unlock it with seeds, collect more seeds,
Sure.
do another world.
Yeah.
So that formula hasn't been messed with too much, but there's like a ton of stuff that if you're a big Mario fan, like you've never seen this before. I'm like, wow, this is
Yeah,
like it really feels like they've gone, yeah, we're gonna do stuff that we haven't seen, and we're gonna push it a bit.
Sure.
Whereas
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the new Super Mario Brothers games are just very safe, very
Mhm.
good, well designed, well made,
Sure.
but like
But
you
just
know,
doing kind of the same old thing.
just
in a
doing
way.
the same old thing. And here they've
Yeah.
redrawn all the animations. There is a
Sure.
new power up where you turn into an elephant, which is
Ooh.
fun. So that's a good laugh. And here you'll see the trippy LSD sort of mode now, because
Ah.
it's coming on. So yeah,
Okay.
it's just and something will happen, and you'll all of a sudden you're riding like flying rhinos and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a cool game, very different to most Mario's. I'm playing it fully in
Sure.
co-op, which
Right.
I suppose the problem with playing it in co-op is sometimes you sort of it dilutes the experience a bit. Do you know what I mean? It feels like
How so?
because you're playing with somebody and you're talking to them, so you're not giving
Yeah,
it the
yeah,
full
sure.
attention.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, it's very good. Enjoying it. Mario Wonder.
Cool. All right.
Hmm.
So if somebody has never played a Mario game, should they start with this or should they go back and play some other Mario games?
That's a tough one. Like if someone's never played a Mario game, where should they
Yeah.
start? I think, I suppose, you know, you're not in it for the lore, are you? With Mario, there's no
Right.
story. So,
Yeah. I don't have any idea what's going on here. Who is this princess?
Yeah, I don't think you're missing much. I think if you have a good understanding of how 2D games work, it's a good one for kids as well. Like
Yeah,
I suppose
sure.
the genius thing with these games is that kids can play them, and
Yeah.
and adults can play them. It is like the Disney sort of franchise of video games
Sure.
where like everybody can
Yeah.
appreciate them, and they're very, very good. Very well made, always fun. So
Yeah, makes sense.
yeah, I think anybody, if somebody hasn't played a Mario game, why would they start now? I don't know, but it wouldn't be a terrible place to start. But it's very much unlike every other Mario game, so it might set you up for like a disappointment on the other ones.
Might
you know,
be disappointed if you go back, yeah.
but it takes a lot of
You just play this
inspiration.
again then.
A lot of inspiration from Mario 3. I think he's like the main one.
Well, I remember Mario 3. Yeah, Mario 2 was like, okay, we see what you're doing. You're expanding things literally, and it felt like a lot of stuff was just sort of pulled upward. And you know, you had, I guess that was the first time you ever had them egg shooting dudes who spit the eggs at you and stuff.
Birdo is the name of that.
Birdo, that's the one.
Okay, Tara's ringing me. Tara's ringing me.
Oh snap!
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
all alone
Oh,
now.
Oh no, hold on.
Just Duke and Duke. Hey Duke, how are you doing? I'm doing good. How are you doing, Duke? I'm all right. You know, it's funny. I was teaching AP Lang recently. I have the student teacher. Oh, tell me more about your student teacher. Well, I'm just playing people. I'm just gonna hit pause on the recording here. This is a very unusual
Duke.
show.
I'll be back.
That's okay. That's fine. I'm going to keep talking into the mic because people listening live on the stream will have no idea. So if you just joined us, thank you for joining us, all 8 of you. You should let me know what's going on with y'all because Chinny had to take a phone call. Tara's ringing Chinny. And Stu, meanwhile, had to step out. He wasn't feeling so hot. So we're hoping he's doing okay. But in the meantime, it's me and Chinny just had to go. So I'm going to cut all this out. 31:40. Yeah, it's a 31:30. Yeah, he had to go, so I'm gonna make a note that these are edits that I need to do. So yeah, like I said, Chinny had to step away, so I gotta just keep talking. What should I tell you about? I can tell you about the potholes that we have in our driveway. Now we have 9 people watching us. We have a long driveway that's dirt, and we've got some potholes, and I was going to fill them in today, but I didn't get around to it. And yesterday I had to dust and vacuum, and then I was kind of worn out, so I didn't do it yesterday. And today I was supposed to do it, but I had to wash the dishes. And so now there's 10 people watching. Holy crap. It's just me, everybody. Sorry. Chinny left the Super Mario Brothers Wonder footage running, but I'm not talking about that game because I haven't played it. So I could talk about what I see, but that would probably be pretty stupid. And I don't want to talk about my game next until it's time to show it. So instead, I will, I mean, the potholes is the most boring story in the world. I must have some more interesting story. Let's see, let me think. What do I have a story to tell? Well, okay, let me put it this way. I had a student who, I think we should probably just chuck the show this week. I don't know. Anyway, I had a student who, yeah, she was in one of the dramatic productions. She's involved with MC International. She's really sharp. She's really on target. And whenever we have class, I'm always challenging all the students to, think differently about stuff. So I'll be the naysayer that's kind of devil's advocate, arguing against positions that I actually believe in. And we're reading this book, Grendel, right now, which is a really awesome book. I don't have a copy here or else I'd hold it up. But it's it's the story of Beowulf from the monster's point of view. And that's a very basic way to describe it because it's a lot more than that. So for instance, the first sentence says the ram stands watching the cliffs, his face stupidly triumphant or something like that. And we talk about the ram and I ask them, does the ram mean anything to you? Is there any significance for you with a ram? And, eventually someone might say, well, it's the first of the astrological signs, the star signs. And it is. And so the book has 12 chapters, and each chapter, the first chapter features a ram, the second chapter features a bull. So we talk a lot about, the nature of like what meaning can we find in the stars and whatnot. And, we really get into some important questions about, the nature of the universe, divine order, or, absolute chaos or whatever. And I just like to, create the dialectic. I like to create a back and forth about what people believe, and not to be an asshole about it, but just to challenge them, right? Because you don't really evolve your thinking much if you just have people sitting around agreeing with you. So if a class is filled with believers, I'll be, atheistic, materialistic. It's only what we can touch. But mostly I have students who are the opposite. They tend to take that position that the only thing that's real, love is just chemicals in the brain. The only thing that's real are the things you can touch and measure and feel. And so I want to push back and try to get them to think about patterns and things that we can't see and feel and touch. And most people don't want to say that love is just chemicals in the brain, because I don't think most people believe that. But you look weird if you're a believer in schools in America in 2025. So I understand why people aren't ready to, claim their belief in public. But, I say to them, look, I have a slide that says no soliciting, no proselytizing. We are not trying to sell each other things. We are not trying to convert anybody. We're not trying to shame each other for believing different things. We're just here to have discussions about stuff. So anyway, this student, we'll call her A, I was, talking about belief systems and whatnot, and she was kind of pushing back on it and stuff. And, we get to a point where the king, Hrothgar, in Beowulf, is in that story, he's known in Beowulf, Hrothgar is well known for being the king. Hey, Searly, Chinny's stepped away to take a phone call, and Stu isn't feeling well, so he's not here today. So it's just me talking right now. I'm going to cut this all out of the actual recording podcast, but I'm just waiting for Chinny to come back. And I'm talking about this student named A in my classroom. So anyway, I was talking about the king, and I was like, well, look, the king is chosen by God, right? And she just fired back right away. Like, no, the king is chosen because he's exploiting the people and and taking everybody's money. And she was getting ahead of the story. Like, that's a big part of chapter 3. So I don't know, the fact that she was able to like call that out and basically make the point that other people are going to make later on is a very interesting one. So I felt really good when she was able to, when someone beats me to the punch, so to speak. That's an interesting feeling. So yeah, that was a good experience I had recently. And then I had these other students who, they're involved in human rights work, and they write letters every week, and they come in eager to talk about, what's going on in the U.S. and what they can do to try to push back, and how we can try to get Congress to do its job and stuff like that. So it's been pretty cool to be able to have them around. And for me, what they want, the main thing I can do for them is try to give them a sense of history and a sense of like, okay, let's look at the Supreme Court, because right now a lot of cases are before the Supreme Court. And the current president, I think, believes that the Supreme Court's going to give him the freedom to do whatever he wants, and never mind checks and balances, which is what Congress and the Supreme Court are supposed to do. But they didn't. The 2 members of the Supreme Court in the U.S. recently voted against certain activities of the executive branch having to do with USAID. Chinny just sent me a message saying, I'll be back in a bit, so I'm going to let him know. No problem. No prob, Bob. So anyway, yeah, so these students keep coming back, and, again, if I can do anything, it's to help them contextualize what's going on and get that historical sense, because I think the more you know history, the less freaked out maybe you'll be by all this, because we've seen some of this stuff before. A lot of it we haven't seen before, but I think it's easy to get freaked out if you feel disconnected from the past and disconnected. disconnected from what you're used to or what you expect to happen. And that's part of the strategy, because the forces of evil are bombarding the rest of us with just overload. They just want us to be, I don't know, off our guard and unable. They actually said, one of them said, we want people who work in the federal government to be afraid to go to work, which is a terrible thing for people to say if they want to work in government. But that's the kind of game plan that these people are working with. So anyway, I want my students to sort of understand a little bit about how, the president can tell us that something is one thing. That doesn't mean we have to accept it, right? Ronald Reagan tried to claim that ketchup was a vegetable. That didn't make it a vegetable. That was just what he said. And that's the end of this week's Sincast. Chinny is back. And Chinny is back. Everything all right?
What is going on tonight? Yeah, sorry. Rosa just woke up
Oh, okay.
screaming.
Oh no. Like scream crying or scream screaming?
Yeah, like really heavy crying,
Oh, okay. I'm
and she
sorry.
doesn't normally do that. And
Yeah.
like I said on the show earlier, she's not been herself. So
Mm.
I had to. It's funny that you got more viewers in here when I left.
I know. It's because Duke is ranting about government and talking about his students. Like, oh boy, let's tune in.
It's just going to be one of those shows tonight where
It's gonna be one of
just
the.
one of
It's
them.
been one of those shows. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
she's fine. She's upset, but we checked the
Yeah.
temperature. I had to get some teething powder, but she wasn't
Yeah.
feeling it. So it's
I'm sorry.
we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so what was you
So
talking about?
Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Anything else that
Yeah,
you
but I
want
want
to
to
say
know
about
what
that
you
one?
were talking about while I was gone.
Oh, well, I was telling a story about one of my students who kind of jumped ahead of the things and really impressed me with a comment that she made. And I was also talking about just the Trump administration and how my students are looking to me for some sense of just like make it make sense, that kind of thing.
A lot
And
of,
I can only do so much to make it make sense, of course,
yeah.
but I can talk about some historical precedents and I can talk about like the way things work and what's going to happen next, probably. So that's a thing.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes
It's
just,
very interesting.
just
yeah.
just knowing like what's going on sometimes is hard
Mhm,
for,
sure,
for
sure.
us, and I feel
And I think, since you ask, like,
yeah.
it's the type of thing where, the forces of evil are trying to get people to give up and like just say, well, there's nothing we can do about this. And that's just not, that's never the case, right? And it's easy to feel like, well, we're powerless and nobody cares what we think and whatnot. But I heard a statistic recently that usually the Capitol switchboard, right, the phone number you call to get to your elected officials in the Congress, it usually has about 40 calls a minute. And recently it's been around 1,200 calls a minute. So that's a serious increase in the number of people calling their elected officials. And there are a lot of elected officials who have been refusing to do town hall meetings because they know that people are going to be angry and, trying to push back on the things that Elon Musk is doing. So that's a good sign because it shows that, our making noise is having an impact.
Yeah.
Now, it's not having the impact we want it to have. It's happening very slowly, but when we were doing the work to free East Timor, it was impossible to know what kind of impact we were going to have. We just pushed and shoved because that's what you do. And we happened to get lucky. And I have a success story to tell about that. But, I would have done it even if it weren't guaranteed to succeed. So that's the way it works.
Fight the power is what you always say.
Fight the power. Now I'm with you, Homer. Fight the power.
Yeah.
As Barney Gumble said.
Yes. So video games. Duke.
Video
Maybe we should get
games.
back to that.
I think we should. And I've got a game to tell you about.
Let's
And it's
do
not
that.
Block Blast.
Ooh.
It's called Lingo 2.
Ooh.
Because this is either just came out or it's coming out soon. I think it might be coming out soon. I don't know if this is out yet, but I never heard of Lingo 1. I never played Lingo 1.
You've never heard of
but the
Lingo
re-
One.
I know, right?
Mate.
Well, it's funny you say that actually because I got the weather's getting warmer and I have two coats. I got a heavy winter coat and I got my warmer fall spring coat, right?
Are
And
those
on
the
my
only
fall
two
spring
coats
coat,
that you own?
I mean, I have some others, but I don't really wear them.
Okay.
But I got your face on my spring fall coat
Me?
And yeah, you sent me a pin one time with your face
Oh,
on it. I don't know.
yeah.
So the point is, I wear it all the time, hoping someone will be like, "Who's that?" And I can go, "Oh, that's Mike Chin," and they'll go, "Who?" I'm like, "You don't know who Mike Chin is?"
Yeah. Yeah, you should
But
definitely do that.
generally, I think people just know, like, "Oh, that's Duke. He's a weirdo. Like, he's just,
Yeah, you got-
it's gonna be something
it's
from
gonna be
30 Rock or
something- yeah,
something.
yeah, it's gonna
Yeah,
be
some
some-
another reference by Duke that no one understands.
That's it, yeah.
So anyway, Lingo 2.
2.
This is right. The Lingo 1 has like incredibly positive reviews. I was like, this is a demo for Lingo 2. I'm like, all right, at this point, my time is limited. I don't want to play a game I'm not likely to like. So even a demo, I'm like, because I got like 20 demos installed that I haven't played. And they're just sitting there. And I've got games I've bought that I've never touched too. I got the latest Room game, the puzzle game, The Room. I
Yeah.
got Against the Storm I bought because it was like $2 on sale one time. I've got all these games. So anyway, Lingo is a very basic visual in terms of the visuals. It's very basic. It looks like Minecraft.
It looks like I made it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's all about words. So like you've got like just this plaque that says 5 out of 14 and there's 5 numbers or there's 5 blanks. And you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to write there? But eventually you realize that it's part of a combination of words. And on the other side of the wall, there's a 14-letter word. And then on your side, there's the 5-letter word. So you got to figure out how to get there. And so they have hazes -1 +1. And what you realize is that is code for you have to take a letter out and put a letter in. So basically you're replacing one of the letters.
Yeah, I just saw one.
And
where
it'll say-
it said like let me just rewind that because it's what was it? It says casts as in CASTS.
Yes.
But you're
Yes.
standing outside of a castle and it says
Right.
what does it say? +2, which means you've got to add 2 letters.
Correct.
So it's
Right.
castles.
And that gives you from casts to castles, right?
Yes.
And eventually, it's okay. So they're not so tough, right? You get it. But they also do this thing where it's like the impossible geometry so that you go down a hall and then it's a dead end and you turn around and it's a completely different thing than where you came from. So it's this kind of exhausting thing where you're like, okay, can you figure out these very clever word puzzles? And then can you figure out the very clever, impossible geometry thing and how you're going to move along this castle? Because eventually it sends you, you go down one hallway and you come out on the x-axis rather than the y-axis, right? So you're coming out of, kind of like Portal will sometimes do, right?
Yeah.
You come out on the floor, or the wall is now the floor of. It's just, and the whole thing is just a one after another series of very, very clever things that it's doing. And as the player, I kept being reminded of David Foster Wallace when he was talking about ambition. Anyway, I had the sound clip ready to go here, but there's a ad before it, so I gotta wait for the ad to go, and then I can skip through the ad. Here we go. All right.
A lot of it is that when you see students work where the point, whether it's stated or not, is basically that they're clever, and to try to articulate to the students how empty and frustrating it is for a reader to invest their time and attention in something and to feel that the agenda is basically to show you that the writer's clever.
So, there's nothing wrong with clever games. I actually like Portal, and Patrick's Parabox is one of my favorite puzzle games because it's very clever. But that's not all it is.
Yeah,
right?
Portal's
The
not
actual
just
process.
clever, is it? It's this
Exactly.
mystery and
Right.
wonder and
Yeah.
gameplay that you've never done ever. And
Yeah, and solving the puzzles is kind of fun. With this game, it's just like, okay, like what word am I thinking of, basically? And I'm just like, And eventually you realize that there's the meta puzzle is you see some letters once in a while and you just type in the letter and okay, you get the letter. And the letter goes to this other place where there's like a meta puzzle. And eventually you realize that the meta puzzle is scavenger on the wall, and those are all the individual letters. And then on the plaque, it says hunt, or it says for, and you have to figure out, oh, scavenger hunt. Okay, I see what you did there. But I have no idea where all the letters are. I've got most of them, but I don't have like 3. So I'm supposed to keep running around this little impossible geometry area and try to find stuff. And I was like, I reached a point where I'm like, I'm sorry, if I can't even finish your demo, I'm not going to enjoy the game. I'm sorry.
Impossible geometry annoys me as well because I'm somebody I'm quite good with maps, so I'm good at like lay of the land. So as soon as
Yeah.
like a game fucks with the geometry of things,
Mhm.
all of a sudden, like I don't mind it in a linear game or whatever, but
Yeah.
as soon as it starts doing that, I'm like, well, there's no point in me mentally remembering things.
Except that it is systematic here. So in other words, there's one area where you go, there's the 4 doorways, and when you go through the orange one, then you end up in this one spot, and then eventually you'll get the thing you need to get there, and then you come back through the orange one, and you're back in the main room with the 4 doorways again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You kind
it
of
is
get
that
walking
kind of
into
thing.
a room, basically.
Exactly,
doesn't
and
exist.
you always know where you're gonna go. It's not as
Right.
though it's just fucking with you always, but it is still that thing of like, okay, now I have to remember where the purple door goes, and I have to remember where the blue door, and
Yeah.
it's just like, So I just, I had some fun. I started to figure out what I was doing. I was like, okay, I see that. I see you. That's kind of cool. But then it got boring and annoying and just tedious. And I was like, all right, you're very clever. I have no interest in playing this game.
No. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's already frustrating me, and I'm not playing it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a thumbs down on Lingo 2.
Sorry, has this one got positive overwhelmingly?
Oh yeah, well, I mean that's the thing with demos is you can't put a review for demos,
okay.
so it's not, But I
you know,
expect
you know
people
what
are
you
gonna
can
be
do on
like,
demos is add it to your wish list.
you can, it's true.
I know that.
But I think here's the thing. I think that look, one of the reviews of Lingo 1 was like, "This is quite possibly the greatest puzzle game ever made," and I'm like, "Okay, calm down, dude. Look, if you say that, you have not played Portal. As if you have, and you think this is better than Portal, shut
quite
the fuck
possibly
up."
the only puzzle game I've ever played.
Or no, I am not the developer. It's that thing with Elon Musk pretending not to be Elon Musk.
Yeah,
hanging out with
developer's
some dude
mom.
playing Fortnite with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever. Like I don't begrudge people if they really do enjoy this game, but I think that this is the type of thing where, and I feel this way too sometimes. If you can figure out something that's hard to figure out, then you feel really proud of yourself. That doesn't necessarily make it a good game. You know what I mean? I mean, for some people it does, because that's what they want from a game. It's like really difficult puzzles. Or, just something that makes them feel really satisfied. But as with the Talos principle, like it came down to a point where it was like 1 pixel off with the light beam and you're fucked. And I was like, you know what? Like, fuck this. Who gives a shit? And I think people who push themselves to keep going in that moment, they're gonna say this is a great game because it's very satisfying for them to do that work
'Cause I'm
to
smart.
make it
'Cause
happen.
I'm smart.
Or at least they have. I think there's an element to this in Dark Souls games. Like I overcame this thing that so few people can
but
overcome.
that's-
And
but-
by
but
the way,
that's fun gameplay, though, isn't it? That's different.
if it is for them, great. I didn't find it fun. But by the way, this is this thing Block Blast is doing too. It has this like when you're solving the puzzles to get the trophy or whatever. It had this little mountain now, and it's like you've done better than 30% of players, and then you get to another level. You've done better than 80% of players, and it's like, have I though? Or are you just telling me that in order to keep me playing? Like, you're 100% better than everyone else. They all suck. It's like these game ads that are like, if you can solve this, you have an IQ of 150. Like, no, I don't.
No, I solved it, and which means I do. So
It's now the law.
I emailed Mensa. I can't even say
Mensa,
him.
yeah.
Mensa.
I don't think that's a
The,
requirement
the
to get
problem
in.
is I couldn't spell it, so I
You went to Messna.com. And
I'd
they
love
were
to
like,
join,
"Ugh."
but I can't spell it. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's Lingo 2.
Lingo 2. Not to be confused with Limbo 2, which doesn't exist.
Which is a game that does not exist.
doesn't
right?
exist.
Not yet, but maybe we say it and it causes it to
We've both been playing a game called Avowed, Duke. Let's
Oh my God,
talk about
yes.
Avowed.
Let's talk about it. Spoilers may be ahead because it's hard to talk about this game without spoiling. I mean, not like the end of the game because we're not near the end of the game, but the first area maybe we'll end up spoiling. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm fairly in this now. I've been playing it quite.
I'm all done with the first area. I think I'm ready to go to the second area now.
What level are you? Let's start with that.
I have no idea. It's been quite a few days because it's been kind of hectic in my life outside of school for reasons I don't want to get into, but I don't remember what level. I want to say maybe 12.
Okay. I am 7.
Okay.
Gives us a good idea where we're at.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I do like it. I was sort of stuck on this main quest. You might be familiar with this main quest where I had to go to some chap I think he runs some sort of poison shop or some shit.
Yeah.
And you get there, and there's people roughing him up a bit. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh,
Yes.
hey." And by the way, you're in an area where people don't like you anyway.
No,
Do you know
they
what I
do
mean?
not.
Like they're sort of, and there's a big ogre guy, and he's like, "Listen, if you do anything fucking dodgy in this area, I'm gonna fuck
we will
you up."
stomp you.
And literally, the mission that you have to do causes that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
rumpus. So
That's right.
I go there and I go, "Hey, you know, leave him alone. I need to talk to him." And they're all like,
Yeah.
"Fuck you gonna do, flower
It's on
face?"
now, bitch.
And
Yeah.
and I was too low level to take on that mission because when
To fight him even.
to fight, so well, I fought them, but
Okay.
when because the big ogre comes and he goes,
Big guy comes in.
"I
yeah,
told
he
you
fucks
not
you
to
up.
fucking do
Yeah.
that."
Yeah.
And he came.
Did you do the voice acting for this game?
Yes, I did. He
You're gonna
came.
put it on the screen, by the way, also.
Oh yeah. And when he came, like it was troublesome for me. Let's say.
Yes.
And
He
sometimes
ain't fucking around.
because you fight 3 guys and then he arrives, and then sometimes when he arrives, 3 other blokes that are sort of in the other
Oh, yeah, that's what I had.
area kept
Uh-huh.
on coming, and I was like, "I'm
Yeah.
fucked here. This is."
And I
doing my
think
head
they're
in."
triggered by where you are.
Yes,
Like, you know
they
what I
are.
mean? There's that
Yeah.
invisible line.
Yep.
So I was like trying not to move out of the one area,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
homeboy was tough. I had to keep moving. So.
Yeah, so I did that. I started that mission many times. Realized that there is
Yeah.
no way of that conversation other than starting a
Yeah.
fight. You have to start the
Well,
fight.
and I think that I think if your intelligence is high enough, or your
No,
I don't know if there's a charisma or something.
No,
Really?
no. There's
Okay.
there's
Fair
no option for you have
Okay.
to fight. So
Okay.
I stopped, and then I learned that like the icons on the side missions in the journal have little skulls on them, and I went,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." There's
how,
like
how well
how
yeah,
difficult they're gonna be. So
Sure.
it's that moment in games, and I've talked about this before when I played Indiana Jones, is like when the
Mhm.
game clicks, when the language of the
Yeah.
game starts
Sure.
to become fluent, you understand what that skull means on that bit of UI,
Yeah.
and you understand.
And they
this
may
and
have tried to tell us earlier, but
Yeah, but you don't, you
there's
know.
so much they're throwing at you. It's hard to keep track.
It's
so.
hard, and it's just
Yeah.
time, isn't it? Time with the game,
Yeah.
and you realise it's
Yeah.
it's the same with every game, and which is why starting a new game can sometimes be annoying because you're like, I don't know what's.
That's
going on.
actually why I have been taking some time off of this, because and even not even like game mechanics, but just the story. Like this
Oh.
game takes its story very seriously, and I don't always want to be tracking this
Well,
story. So it's like
I'll tell you what, I do skip quite a bit in the dialogue because
blame you.
because there's an established lore, and
Yeah, you don't want to learn about the history of the Greblocks and the Googlums.
I said, one of my notes. I got 2 notes that I need to bring up in this conversation, dude.
Yeah.
And one of them is,
Yeah.
God, the lore is boring.
It's pretty boring.
It's so boring. Like whenever they start talking about the Grimlaws and the Hunahawks,
Yeah.
right? I just fucking keel over. Like I just
sure.
cannot stand it.
Mhm.
Which is annoying because the writing is quite good.
The writing is generally pretty good, and you don't want to necessarily skip the interactions between
Correct.
you and the other characters. You've said before
Correct.
that you really like the fact that you can just nod or like
Yeah,
rub your
you
chin or
can-
something.
Yeah. There's-
Skyrim did a good job of saying like, let's just keep the conversations to a bare minimum. If you want the lore, you can read the fucking books.
Yeah.
And this game doesn't really. I mean, this game has extra stuff. You can dig further into the lore if you want,
Yeah,
but you're going
it's
to get a
just
lot of
too-
lore in the
It's
conversation.
too
It's like, come
thick
on.
of lore.
It's too thick. Agreed.
But so I got that main quest and I said, you know what, I'm going to pause this main quest and I'm going to do a bunch of side quests. So
Do some
I did
sideys,
a
yeah.
few things. I did a few bounties. There's a few bounties you can do
Yeah, yeah.
and stuff.
Bounties
so I
are pretty good. I like the
did,
bounties.
did
I had
those.
fun with those.
And then I found this side quest that you've probably done where
Mhm.
you go down this. There's 2 people arguing outside of this cave, and
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh, who are you?" And you're like, "I want to go in the cave," and you're like, "Oh, you can't go in the cave." And then one of the options was sneak away while they're arguing
Yeah,
and just go in.
and go into the cave.
And
yeah,
that's
sure.
what I did, and I thought that was
That's what you
brilliant.
did. Wow.
I thought
See,
that
it's
was
funny
so
because
funny.
It's it's really clever to have that option. If you can sneak, like you got to make sure.
No,
you
no,
can
no.
sneak.
Like you literally press
Oh, it just
the
does it
option,
automatically.
and
Oh, okay.
and they
Fair
just
enough.
argue, and they just don't notice you walk in.
They don't notice you leaving. Okay.
So it's like
Because the game will
comedy thing.
actually give you a quest that leads you to that place, And so I went there and I was like, I'm here to sort shit out. And they're like, you can't go in here. I'm like, motherfucker, do you know who I am? Do you not see that I am godlike? Do you not know I'm the emissary? Like I am like everything in
I
this
am
world
envoy
right now. So
or
shut
envoy,
up.
whichever one they
Yeah.
want to pronounce it, because everybody says envoy or
Exactly.
envoy.
Yeah.
So I snuck in that cave, and then
Yeah.
that leads you to this huge side quest of this
Yeah.
golden
Mr. Shiny Face.
golden guy.
Golden man, yeah.
And you like, as soon as I saw this guy, I was like, I'm definitely killing him. Like, doesn't matter what.
Have you finished the quest?
Yeah, I've done that. And
Okay, so you did kill him.
He's
Yeah.
like, oh, I've got this statue,
Uh,
and you're like, yeah, and I couldn't give a fuck, right? Because the reason why you're down there is you're finding like a group of Marines or
Artifact.
some like a
yeah.
no,
yeah,
not for the artifact, but you're finding like,
No, I know, but the soldiers
soldiers.
who went looking for the artifact, yeah.
not Marines, they're not like SAS, like soldiers,
No,
right?
they're colonial Marines. They fought aliens and then they went here instead.
World War
They're like,
II.
Fuck the alien.
So you're finding these soldiers, and so somebody says, "Oh, these soldiers are missing." So you go there,
Yeah,
and he's like, "They probably went looking for this artifact. In fact, I'm after it." Right? I'm like,
Yeah.
"Mate, you live like fucking like half a mile away from it. Why?" And he's like,
Right.
"Oh,
And you're like clearly touched with God powers or
like,
something. Your eyes are glowing and
your
shit.
eyes are glowing. You got a fire sword. Like, what the?
You've built this enormous golem
yeah,
thing.
you built this
Yeah.
huge statue. Like, you clearly have the skills to do.
You have
this.
time on your hands.
I wish there
right?
was just a dialogue option where he just went, "I can't be bothered." Do you know, like, because then and that isn't the game isn't too good for that. It would have done that, and I just feel
sure.
like I would have bought it all if the guy was like,
Yeah,
"I just can't be asked to do that."
yeah, sure.
I just can't be asked, and I'd rather send you.
I'm busy building this thing.
I'm busy
Yeah.
building this. You know what? I don't want to get my clothes wet. Do you know, because you got to swim
Yeah,
through.
right.
this
There
thing.
you go.
Anyway.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, there's lots of nasty things on the way," and you're like, "Okay, fine, I'll do
But
that."
don't touch my machines. Which, of
touch-
course, as soon as you say that, where's your machine? I'm gonna
Where's your
push all the
machine?
buttons. Fuck you.
So I do that, and then you find out they're all dead. Spoilers. And then,
Oh man, did you read the journal from that woman?
No, I don't read.
It broke my fucking heart, man. Her
was
name,
it?
I wrote it down. Her name is Jada, Gjeda.
Right.
And her journal is like her whole fucking life story. And it's like, if my husband wants to leave, then fine, fuck him and that woman that he's living with, and that bitch can eat my ass. And I'll raise little Jimmy on my own. And then it's like, next entry is like, all right, Jimmy's gonna have to be okay while I go deal with this other thing. And then it's like, Jimmy's sick, I want to go home and see him. And then it's like, oh, the dude with the sun face and the flaming sword needs me to go get his artifact for him. And then she's dead. And it's like, oh god, it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah. Who has the
Poor
time to
Jada.
read these things, Duke? I don't,
Well, that's the thing. Normally, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about any of these things.
Yeah.
But I saw her, and I was like, okay, I'll read your journal, and it just hooked me from the start. I'm like,
I just
oh no,
as soon as I like open a letter, I close it. I'm like, I read it.
I don't blame you. But it reminded me when I worked in a bookstore one time, and this lady came in and sold a box of books, and the box was like her life story in the box, because the first book was like how to make your marriage work, and then the second book was adultery, the forgivable sin
Oh my God.
and then the next book was like helping your children deal with divorce, and then it was like grieving the loss of a child or something. I was like, oh god, lady, here's $100. I'm so
The
sorry
last
for
one
your
was
life.
Satanism. Is it bad?
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah. So yeah, maybe I should read them, but I just want to play a video game. I don't want to
Well,
read.
yeah,
you know?
exactly. Right, I don't blame you.
So I'm just sort of doing that. Yeah. So you find spoilers for this side quest, by the way, but whatever. We're in this now, and we're struggling for time.
Yeah, we told you.
Yeah. So we're in this thing, and you find out they're all dead, and you get the artifact, and there's a few lizard things in the way or whatever, I don't know, and.
Yeah.
You come back to Golden Boy and you say, "Yo, Golden Boy, like you didn't tell me like they're all dead. Like,
Yeah.
did you?
You killed 'em, didn't you?
You killed them,
Yeah.
didn't you?" And he's like, "Well, killing them is kind of a loose term. Like,
What does killing even mean?
you know, if you
Right.
if you mean I gave them the thing that where they died, and yeah, I suppose." And this isn't
How
me
would you
like
find killing?
This isn't me being funny. This is kind of what he says.
No, it's not. This
Yeah.
is really what he says.
Yeah. And you're like, right, okay. And I sort of quite liked that move, so I was like, do I want to kill him? I don't know. And then I got
And
bored.
then he's like, why don't you give me the artifact and
Yeah.
we'll put the souls of the dead people into this robot. It'll come to life and it'll bring back this ancient god of murder, and you and I will get powerful. And I'm like, hell no, I'm not helping you with that. You got to die.
Yeah. So I did that.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, I killed him.
Okay.
And then I stole his fire sword because that's sick.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
He's still using that like that. All right, I'm gonna.
Oh, it's a great
I'm
sword.
going to upgrade that. That's a keeper, that one.
Totally.
And then the stone behind me,
Yeah,
which is like connected to the
with
gods.
Shadow voices.
He's like
Every time you want to take a nap.
he's
oh,
like
not you again.
oh, you should put that relic in that thing. And I'm like,
Yeah, which I'm like, I thought I just told him I'm gonna kill you rather than bring this relic to the robot, and now you're telling me to do it.
yeah. So then I found out you could blow up the statue, but I couldn't.
Oh,
I
did you
couldn't
do that?
I couldn't blow it up because you need electricity to do it, right?
Yeah, but there's those little rocks around that will do
Yeah,
it.
and I
You can
only
throw
had 2
those.
of them. And I couldn't fight for the lot. I needed 3, and I was
Damn.
like, I can't. So I just let them have the. I just put it in and says because the stone said like, donate the god of murder and death to us.
Yeah,
And
to
I went,
us.
listen, fine, yeah, you can have it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right, whatever.
Then you wanted to blow it up anyway.
I did want to blow it up, and I do regret that I didn't. But I just didn't have the tools to do that job.
Yeah,
So-
sure.
So I
Well,
said,
I mean, I want the stone voices to be ready to help me, because I can tell later on
yeah.
they'll come rushing in if you need help.
So
or
I
something.
said to the god,
It'll be
I said, like, you have him then. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You brought me back to life, so you're
Right.
okay.
See, that's the thing. I'm like, you better be able to help me later on, because I'm being real nice to y'all.
yeah.
So yeah, you can have the robot murder god.
But
thing.
but I do wish I blew it up because I do like enjoy blowing up things in these games.
Well, of course, man, it's fun to
Um,
blow things.
So I did that, and I did a few other side quests, and then I went back to
Yeah.
that main mission, and then I
Yeah.
killed that stupid.
You were able to
ogre.
get the
yeah,
big
got
guy.
it.
Yeah.
And
Sweet,
I did
take
a
that.
few things. There's like a few things on like that the island that's separate to the thing, and you've got to get it.
Yeah. There's a
Uh,
bounty out there, and then there's
yeah.
also you got to get the special Audra or whatever.
That's
is.
it. Yeah. So I've done that, and that's about where I'm at. So
Yeah.
I haven't done much more than that.
Yeah.
So and I've done all the bounties as well. I've done all of those.
Uh-huh.
now.
Sure.
So it's good, and this is all the first area. Really, really good,
Yeah.
funny, enjoying
Yeah.
it. And I've
Yeah.
changed my because I always play sword and shield, bow and arrow, right?
That's exactly what I'm doing.
And I
But
think
you have done. You've changed it
it's
up.
boring. It's boring. It's boring.
Okay.
So I used the gun for a bit, and I went, it's
Okay.
still boring. It's too boring. And then I really, really regret not blowing that statue up, right? And then and
So I want to get the electricity, so I'm never without
yes,
it again.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was like, I was quite interested in the wand and the book thing,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And I was like,
Grimoire.
let me see if I can do that, right? Because there's
Yeah.
one power that I've got, and
Yeah.
it fires like 3 purple balls at the enemy,
Okay.
and that fucks them up, right?
Yeah. I got
It's-
the tangled vines that holds them in place, which is very handy.
My,
It's like,
my,
I need to go over here and
one of
heal
my
up, but you just
companions, the
chill.
dwarf companion, can do that.
Yeah, he can
Uh,
do that too.
But like that 3 missile
Purple
thing,
balls, man.
fucking, it absolutely annihilates them. So I thought
Nice.
maybe the spells are just really strong in this game, and they are.
Yeah.
They are very,
That's
very
the
strong.
sense I get.
And-
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because, sorry, but like
No?
I when I first started playing it, I was looking for, I don't remember what I was looking for, but I was looking for something, and I found some review of Avowed, and before I could look away, I read a few sentences, and it was like, I'm sorry if anybody's playing this game, swords and like bow and arrow, because this is a comment on the magic. Because I usually play Sword and Shield, but the magic in this game is so fun
Yeah.
that I have to just play. This is for all my warlock and witch friends, and
Yeah.
he was just geeking out about the magic. So I
So
get the sense the magic in
I'm
this
not.
game
I'm
is
not a
something
magic guy, but because you've got like
Yeah,
a
but
wand
you
and
hate
you've,
orcs
you're
and elves and
fucking
wizards and shit.
shooting it like a gun, basically.
It's basically a gun
Um,
that shoots magic.
It's good, and I've got a spell that like does fire flames, like a
Yeah.
flamethrower, basically.
Sure.
Lightning.
Yeah.
I got like a shield one where I'm like, you can't touch me, and there's another
Yeah.
one. I can't remember what the
Mhm.
other one is, but I think it's like poison or something. I don't know.
Sure.
Good stuff. Like
So you're
inch-
gulping down the
the
spirit
purple,
potions.
the purple jizz, yeah. And I'm
Purple
like,
ones, right,
oh,
yeah.
this is brilliant.
Yeah.
So I'm
cool.
enjoying it. I'm enjoying the fact that I've got that option. Do you know what I mean?
Chinny
I'm-
the Wizard.
I'm still got my bow and arrow just in case I need to
Yeah.
whip it out. But actually, I've got a unique pistol, so I might swap to that.
Okay.
But I think I'm just swapping it up. And the cool thing is on the skill tree is that you can just pay a bit of money and just like unlock all your points and just assign them to something else, which is what I did.
Yeah.
So I when I changed to magic, I was like, right,
It's called respec.
yes, respec my
Yes.
my tree,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I just respect it to sort of give me a few extra points on the magic stuff, and
Sure.
yeah, it worked. I was like, why don't all
Away we
games do
go.
that? Why don't I just choose whatever I want? Brilliant.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's I think the trend because like New World does it. Yeah, I think a lot of games are starting to do that. That's
Yeah.
becoming kind of the
Love
standard.
it.
I think.
Love it. It's
Yeah.
just fun.
Good
This
stuff.
game is fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of joy that comes with it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I know. I want to play it now. You know what I mean? That's
Sure.
it's got its hooks in me a little bit. So yeah.
It's got its hooks in us. Yes, definitely.
Enjoying Avowed.
Avowed thumbs up.
Are you much further than me? Are you?
I think I'm a bit further, yeah, because that main quest has a few more stops in that main area, and I did all of those, and then there was like two things. One was totally optional, and one was it was like look for because you find there's one quest that it takes you to someone who was like doing some cartography work, and you find him dead and something fell on him or whatever, and then it's like find the other notes that he left around this region, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to wander around trying to find his notes. And then the other one was the treasure map where it's like, find this place and you'll find treasure. I'm like, fuck that. So I complained last week about, I want to be able to edit my quest log. But those are the only two things left. And I went, because this game does the great thing on the map of like, if you've explored a place, it's in color. And if you haven't, it's like grayed.
Like
So
a
I
fog of
went, I was
war,
like, I
isn't
want
it?
to
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, I'll just wander around to just make sure there aren't any like side quests or areas that I haven't explored yet. And so I've done that in that first area. And now literally I've just set foot into the next area. So
Oh, okay. Is it just as big? Does it look just as big?
I think all the areas are about the same size probably. So
That's
yeah,
impressive.
and the map is huge because this area we're talking about is maybe 1/15 of the whole thing or 1/16 because it looks like it may be about 4 high and 4 wide.
Wow.
So that's a big ass map. There's a lot to do in this game.
Cool. And it's interesting how it's done a slightly different approach to Skyrim, where Skyrim's just this one map. It's massive,
Right. And you can go anywhere you want at any time you want.
and whereas this is
And the
like
enemies
no,
scale.
there's like 4 or 5. I don't know how many there are. Smaller
Yeah.
maps, and they're all just dense.
Yep.
And
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know which one I like more. Like it's just a good solution to.
Yeah, they do a lot of, they have a lot of improvements on Skyrim. I am frustrated by the fact that there's no map. Like when you went down into that cave, right, to deal with Magic Face Boy, like you can't tell where you are, where you need to go or whatever. Now they tend to be pretty intuitive, so it's not like you really need it. But I got used to Skyrim. Like here's where you are, here's where you're going. So I don't know.
I'm with you.
But yeah, no, it's wonderful. This, like I said, game of the year.
It's a
I can't
contender.
imagine anything coming close.
It's a contender. Yeah. It's very, very good.
And if it's got you doing magic, it's doing something right. Because Chinny don't fuck with magic usually.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of game of the year, should we talk about Play by Game, bitch?
I think we should talk about the flame.
Bitch. Yeah, bitch! Yeah, bitch! Play my game, bitch.
Hi, Brian. Yeah, it's got the Breaking Bad connection.
I want no part of your tight-ass country club, you freak, bitch!
I mean, this has got to be game of the year on our list, isn't it?
You know, it's funny. I was like, wait a minute. Didn't I play this? And I went looking because I know I played a Watch Dogs game at one point. And so I went to that little app, whatever, the spreadsheet you made, right? With all of our games.
Oh, yeah.
All of them.
Mhm.
And I searched for Watch Dogs. And I'm like, and I searched for Legion. And it came up, I guess, Stu played it once upon a time when it first came out. Or you played it.
Maybe.
And so I'm like, all right, I could have sworn I played it. So I went looking for Watch. And, a bunch of games with the word watch came up. And then I did Watch Dogs. And like one of you played Watch Dogs 2. And I'm like, well, am I losing my mind? What the fuck? So I went looking through every page in my Simpsons video game notes journal. Nothing. And I'm like, okay, this is, now it's an obsession, right? I've got to find out what's going on. So I looked through my other video game notebook, 2019 to 2021. And heaven help me if it was before 2019, which it wasn't. But I'm looking through every page. And I used to not keep track of which episode we were doing it for. So when I wrote down notes, I'd have to cross through them because otherwise I'd be risk talking about the same game 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And now I put like, we're talking about it in episode 792 and here's the date and whatever. I wrote down Hot Dogs 2 rather than Watch Dogs 2. And when I put it in the show notes, it got put into the spreadsheet as Hot Dogs 2. So that's why I couldn't find it. I didn't play Hot Dogs Legion. I played, I put so I played Watch Dogs 2, not Watch Dogs Legion. So, but I remember I found my notes for Watch Dogs 2, because Hot Dogs 2, and it was like, fuck this, it's too hard, stealth, shit, my ass, fuck this game, I'm done. So I was like, oh, well, that's not going to set me off well for Hot Dogs Legion.
Hot Dogs 2.
But I actually didn't hate this.
I'm trying to find it. It's annoying now that I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny that I put that down and then it got put in the actual record of what games Duke has played.
Okay. Well, I can't find it, but it's there. Oh,
Okay.
hold on. No.
Oh.
No.
Oh,
No. Okay. Whatever. So you play? Yeah, I remember you played. Yeah, Watch Dogs 2. Because when I played it, you'd said. I didn't realise that you played it, even though we're on a show every week talking about what we play. And I was like,
well,
you forget.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of games that come and go, and sometimes we got stuff we got to deal with.
So, Watch Dogs Legion. This is the one that came out in 2020. This is just a bit about this game. This is the one that got a little bit of controversy before it came out because it featured Brexit. It mentions Brexit. It's set in London. And it was one of the biggest games.
Got strong V for Vendetta vibes at the start of the game.
Yeah, it's one of those games that came out during lockdown. So it very much felt like a lot of people played it. A lot of people enjoyed it, and it resonated because the topic of it is quite at the time, relevant. So you play as a chap. It's kind of like a James Bond-esque chap at the start, and then he dies, and then the whole gimmick of Watch Dogs Legion was you can recruit anyone and play as any NPC, and that was like the big gimmick. What did you think, Duke, of Watch Dogs?
I thought it was cool because most of the time with a game like this, I spend 20 minutes making my character look nice, even though I know I'm only playing the demo and I probably won't play it much after the first hour or so. But they sidestepped all that and they were like, okay, you know what? Look, here's 12 people and you're gonna pick 3, and then you can, I guess, decide which one you want to play as. But I really like the fact that it was just like, just pick one of these people and you can tweak their appearance later if you want to. Yeah. Because it cut right through all of that.
You can play as either one of them, and you can recruit new people.
Right. Sure.
Play as them.
Makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to spoil something about this game. So warning people.
It's 5 years
where's
old.
my warning? I know, but I just want to let people know.
Warning!
Watch Dogs Legion. At the beginning of the game, there's a group of like 5 people. And James Bond is defusing the bomb on top of Parliament, and your other 4 are back at Hacker Dude HQ, and there's an AI, and they shut down the AI because that's the only way you can defuse a bomb or something. I don't know what the fuck the story is. And then it's they're all wiped out except one of them escaped through the sewers or whatever, and then you show up. And she's recruited you, and then you're like, let's do some hacking. And she's like, oh, thank God you've answered the call, and I'm so happy that you're part of this, and now it's time to take down these people who are trying to set us up, and blah, blah, blah. And as soon as she showed up in the thing, I was like, wait a minute, this is like The Simpsons.
So the cops knew that Internal Affairs was setting them up?
What are you talking about? There's nothing like that in here. Oh, I made up my own story. When I get bored, I just make up my own story. As soon as that woman showed up, she's like, I barely made it out of that whole thing alive. I'm like, she did it.
She did it. Yeah.
And I looked it up on the Wikipedia. I was like, and as soon as I started scanning, I didn't even remember her name. The last paragraph of the plot summary, it's like, it turns out Sabine had set up I was like, God damn it.
Look,
it's so predictable.
It's like, she got away. How did she get away? Like,
I wonder how she got away. Yeah. So anyway, it was out. But I'll tell you, like I said, I actually kind of enjoyed the gameplay here. The stealth didn't feel too punishing, which was the big thing for me in the second one, Hot Dogs 2. And you have a pistol when you start, but you take out a couple of guards and they've got like Uzis or whatever. So now you have an Uzi, and I was like, oh, so I got some firepower now, which is nice because it is a stealth game, but if shit goes wrong, you got to fight your way out. And I remember the first one it's not easy to fight your way out. And so it felt like this was a little easier to fight your way out, which meant that they were kind of leaning a little more toward their Division methods, which I like. I love the Division. So it felt like a good balance of those things.
I mean, what I'll say about it is, like, I don't think it's bad. It just feels a bit flat to me. Like, and I think it's just because Ubisoft games are developed by hundreds and thousands of people across the world,
right?
And all of their games feel the same. And I know.
Well, it's a very rigid formula.
It's rigid. It feels like the other Watch Dogs games, obviously, but it also feels like the Division. And the font is the same as like the Division, and you're like,
and the sound it makes when you hit OK,
and you're like, it's.
I might as well be playing the Division.
I don't know what this is. Like, it just feels like you're playing.
The games don't have their own character, their own personality. They feel much of a muchness. Yeah, no, I hear you.
And I just.
And the other thing about this game is that it kind of bugs me how much they're leaning into this like hacker ethos. Did you ever see the movie Hackers?
I know what
way back in the day with Angelina Jolie and that game. That movie fucked me up.
I remember seeing a trailer for it on a videotape of another film.
A friend of mine nailed it. He was like, "This was a movie where the special effects were all designed by people who have never used a computer." Yeah. Because it was all like the code is floating around. They were floating around inside the code and shit. And it's just like, this is so dumb. And it feels like this was kind of like that. It's like, dude, if hackers were cool, then they would live like this. And they're in the shadows and they're in the basement and they're wearing pig helmets and all this really far out shit. And they're spray painting. No, hackers sit in their basements and then click, 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 click. And that's fine. Like, hackers can do important things. But it's hacker against hacker here now. And you got this other group that's like trying to ruin civilization for Tyler Durden type shit. If we can get rid of all records of ownership, then people will be happy. No, stop it. That's not going to do anything. So I got annoyed by that.
Yeah, it is annoying. It is annoying. I do enjoy the fact that, I mean, the NPCs when you're walking around London and stuff, definitely voice acted by British people.
Actual British people, sure.
No way you can fake it. Like, I heard this woman, and she's like an NPC, and she was like, "Oh, did you get that thing? Oh, yeah, that's fucking sick." And I'm like, there is no way that is not a British person. And like, there's just a lot of them, just a lot of the NPCs walking around. I'm like,
well, you know, at one point, I'm picking up this audio file or whatever, and it's a podcast. And it's the two
Andy
hosts
Zaltzman
of The Bugle, Andy Zaltzman and Alice, whatever her last name is.
Oh,
and I was just like, oh my God, I know these two. Andy and Alice.
I didn't know that Alice. See, I haven't listened to The Bugle
because it's a rotating group of people. Who
Look, I haven't listened
Andy's
to The Bugle
always there, but it's
since John Oliver left, right? Like,
I don't blame you. It lost something when he took off.
So I didn't know that the other one was. But when I picked that up and I was like, that's fucking Andy Zaltzman.
Andy Zaltzman.
And so you can. They've gone to the effort of making it feel British. The problem is, if I get in the car and I hear Stormzy "Too Big for Your Boots" ever again, okay, because Duke, you get in a car in England, they're not all playing British songs all the time. Like, we do know who.
I don't know.
We do know who Beyonce is. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're aware.
But if they want a place to have its own musical feel.
Yeah. So that's a thing, I suppose. Like, it does feel quite British, and you know, I turned it on just before we started the show. I played it like when we Monday or something. I played it ages ago, but I turned it on just before we started the show, and I walked around Big Ben, and I was like, let's see if I can recognise where, because I've been to London a few times, and this is the only thing it's missing, and I don't know, it might come up later on. Is there's opposite Big Ben. I'm pretty sure there's an underground station.
Oh, okay.
And there's no underground station there. So and the underground is.
This is where Stu will come in and be, it's so not realistic, and it's. But they do have the Gherkin. I saw the Gherkin in the opening montage.
Yeah, they got all the Shard and all that sort of stuff. But the walkie-talkie building. But I was like, the underground is such a London thing, you know. Look, it's one of the best underground systems in the world, and It's not there. And it might come up in a mission or something. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I remember seeing some underground signs, but I mean, I wouldn't know where the stations
there's
were
one.
supposed to be, so,
You know what? I'm gonna go fucking Google Maps and double check because I'm gonna look like a dick. But I'm pretty sure there's one right by Big Ben. Like it's literally opposite.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but you know, the game felt. I did a kick up side quest as well. There's like a football.
Okay.
And just sitting there opposite Big Ben, and it's like a quick time event where you do like these kick ups and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I was, you know what? Am I totally mistaken? Is there not a fucking?
Uh-oh. Chinny's hallucinating underground stations.
Hold on.
Thank you for joining us, people. Chinny has to investigate something
But
about
you know
Watch Dogs Legions to see. No, I know.
You know when
how it
Stu
is.
says something, you've got to fact check it. Like,
well, yeah.
that's what's going on with me.
Sure. Meanwhile, I'll shout out the people in the chat. Blake Gaylord, Soul Brother #1. What up, people? If Steve and Chill Robots and Surly and Sean and Brian are still here, thank you for joining us. Stu's not feeling well tonight, so he's taking a bye week.
You know what? Maybe I'm wrong.
Uh-oh. Chinny doesn't know the underground.
I'm so sure there was one there. Hold on.
Maybe it used to be, and then they took it away.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just totally wrong here. But anyway,
Could be. Anyway,
I fucked up, and you know, damn it. Here's me
well.
thinking St. James, Waterloo. Yeah, I think I'm. Hold on, Westminster. Isn't Westminster? Yeah, it's Westminster.
Okay.
Is it there? I don't know. I'm drawing a blank here. Maybe I don't know London as well. Yeah, there is one,
Maybe
Westminster, and Westminster was there, but
okay.
like, okay, it didn't look like the way I looked like, so maybe it is there in the game. Anywho, all right, sorry Ubisoft. Yes, you know, like when I was outside Buckingham Palace, and I sort of knew that I was there before I saw Buckingham Palace.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I was like, oh, this is right by
Was the
Buckingham
flag
Palace.
up?
I don't know. Who cares? Is sausage fingers. The flag just had sausage fingers.
There you go.
Yeah, so I think it's okay. Like, it doesn't grab me though. Like, it's not like, you know.
I mean, the thing with the little crab robot that we're looking at on the screen now is pretty cute. I had a little fun with that, but it wasn't like, that's not like a game changer. That's not something that's like, ooh, now I'm in for this game.
That's basically
It was like a
Spider-Man,
minute.
but you do that, and
Yeah,
I
sure.
suppose
There's lots of games that do stuff.
I just, it's a weird one, isn't it? 'Cause
Ratchet and Clank.
I know that there is nothing wrong with this game. Like,
Right.
it's good. It plays okay. It'll have good missions. It'll be fun. But it's just it's the same old formula, isn't it? So it
is the same old formula.
You know.
And I mean, I like the formula. Like, I think the fact that it's to do with, and again, it's all about the balance for me, because I like the fact that it's like, okay, I'm going to hack this. I'm going to trace this power cable to where it unlocks over here, and I got to get over there and stuff. And maybe I'll try it stealthy, but if I can't make it work stealthy, I'll just fuck everybody up. Like, if I can do that, I'm cool. But the second one, it was so, as soon as you got spotted, you just had to run because you're fucked.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably play it some more.
The most unrealistic thing about this game, though, the problem with it is that you can drive around in London. That's to me, that's just ridiculous. Like,
forget it. That's not happening.
That's ridiculous.
There's a reason the underground works very well.
There's like driving around London is not the way you get around London.
Yeah, sure.
I'm on Street View on London, and the traffic, the traffic, is ridiculous. So the fact that you can get in a car and go to the other side of London in 5 minutes, unrealistic. I want a video game where you're in traffic for like an hour.
It's the whole time. The whole game is just sitting there.
So, what do we think? Thumbs up?
So I'm giving it a thumbs up because I had an okay amount of fun, and I didn't. If I don't uninstall it before the show, like, that's a good sign that I'm it's not a ringing endorsement. It's just barely up, but it is up for me.
I think I'm the same, because I was like, you know what, I might keep playing it. I might just have it on in the background and just work my way through it and just
because you definitely don't need to pay attention to story. You definitely don't have to worry about characters or any of that stuff we were talking about with Avowed. So it's kind of the antithesis of Avowed in that sense. Like, the story is what it is, and it's like, who gives a shit?
it's just it just feels like one of those blockbuster movies where, like, I don't know, you just get the gist of it. And
Turn your brain off and
Yeah.
just do the thing.
Do the thing.
Blow stuff up.
So there you are. That is Watch
There you are, Watch Dogs, baby.
Legion.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
And the only other thing I have to talk about is the season 17 rewards of Rocket League.
Wow.
Yeah. Damn it, I rearranged. Oh yeah, here we go.
Like anybody fucking gives a shit.
It's so funny because I didn't get to Diamond this season. I plateaued at Platinum. And now the start of the new season, I'm starting off in Gold. I'm like, what the fuck? But they gave the rewards, and it's just like, oh my God, who gives a fuck about any of these rewards? They're so shit. Nobody's going to use them. And then the new season pass stuff drops, right? The same day that the old season gives out its rewards, you know, you can get the season pass. And I've only ever bought it once, but if you play it enough, you get credits back. And so you can get the next season. But the stuff you get for the season pass, it's just so shit. I'm just like, ugh, I don't want any of this. So it would just be more clutter in my inventory. So I'm just like, forget it. I'm just playing the game. And it just feels like every day that passes, the people who play that game are more angry, more furious. There's a dude today I was playing, and he was just sitting there in the goal. And I'm like, dude, don't just sit in the goal. Like, rotate in, rotate out. You know, let's put some pressure on him. And he was like, I'm silver, bro, chill. And I was like, first of all, I didn't ask what rank you are. If you don't know how to play very well, then you should be thanking me for the advice and how to like relate to the goal. And I was like, I'm just letting you know that you should rotate into the goal and then rotate out of the goal. And he was like, I know what I'm doing. And I'm like, okay, fine.
Did
fuck
you say,
Like,
suck my balls, I'm gold? I'm
I
better than
didn't.
you."
I was like, I'm not going to try to tell this person what to do. I was just playing the game, but he just kept sitting in the goal. And by the time he decided he wanted to challenge the opponent, they were already scoring on him. So I was like, okay, there's no way I can win. So I tried to forfeit, and he was like, why you suck? And I was like, okay, well, you know what, dude? I'm just going to play for the other team now because I hate you, and I'm going to have fun one way or another. And it's just, I'm just so tired of dealing with I just want to have some fun playing Rocket Soccer. But I can't, it's hard to do because there's so many furious little children. So whatever.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I
That's
played
Rocket League for you.
That was, yeah, it's been
Yeah,
a minute. It's
yeah.
10 years old this year, Duke.
Yeah, it's been around for a while, but it's on season 17. It's like, what? How does that work?
They didn't start, the seasons didn't start straight away, did it?
Well, no, they reset it after like 10 seasons or something. But even then, like 10 years, 27 seasons. Like, what? I guess they're 3 a year or something. I don't know. Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah, Rocket League. This is your last
So,
chance to
that's
talk
all the
about it
games.
without getting interrupted.
I have nothing else to say, really. I feel like I'm getting better, but my rank just keeps dropping. And I think they're futzing with the rank somehow, or it's all relative, and therefore, you know, I'm not playing super well. I know that, but the teammates I'm getting, they're just, you know, especially when you get down to gold, like a lot of times they've just started, or they're, you know, they're kind of figuring stuff out. And the biggest problem with, since I have the chance, I think the biggest problem with people who play the game kind of seriously is that they'll watch the pros and then they'll try to play like the pros. In other words, they're trying to do these aerial dribbles,
and they're just
and
failing.
they can't, so they fuck it up. Or they're trying to dribble on the ground real slick. And if you don't know how to dribble well, 90% of the time it's going to be a turnover because they're going to just hit the ball away from you, and then their teammate's going to go get it. So I'm always like trying to
never been
rush
able
the
to
ball,
dribble.
like get it in front of their goal, just power them, attack them constantly, make them use their boost, make them scared of me. And it tends to work okay. But if my teammate's not ready to join me in that, forget it.
Yep.
So whatever.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I have
I've tried to dribble the ball in Rocket League, and it just never ends well, ever.
It's tough. It's really, hard to
Really
do it
difficult.
well. I'm still not very good at it, and I've been playing 6,000 hours. So. Whatever. It's a fun game when it works well. You gotta, that's the other thing. I should not be negative all the time when I talk about Rocket League because I play it a lot because I have some really fun experiences. I think it was maybe Tuesday of this week. I ended up in this room, and usually I'll like play a game and then go leave the lobby and go find a new match. But I didn't want to leave this lobby because 2 of the people in it were just so much fun. And occasionally the 4th person in the lobby would be cool, but usually it was someone who was just like, you all suck. I can beat you 1v1 anytime. Add me, bro.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, add me. And he'd try to add me. And then I'd type in the chat, aha, he's trying to add me. What a pathetic dork. And he's like, are you going to 1v1 me? I'm like, no, I'm not spending any more time dealing with you. You're clearly miserable. And other people were like, you know, I just like, let's just have fun. And they, you know, you can tell you're in a good lobby if you try to score and the other team blocks it, or if you block them and they say nice block. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's just some good camaraderie. It's just, we're all here to have fun and play this game. It's not important. Let's just, chill out and have fun.
Yeah.
So it's nice when you can actually get that. And I do occasionally get that experience. So.
Yes.
Yes.
Been a
All right.
minute.
That's all the games we have this week. Yes.
Yes, that is all the games we have.
Okay. And Stu's going to have to pick the Play My Game Bitch for next week because it's him and 2 special guests. So I'm not sure exactly how
yeah.
he's going to do that. But
Yeah, that's true. We're not here.
nope, I'm going to Florida on spring break.
I'm going to the snooker final.
Ooh, where's that happening?
It's in a place called Telford.
Okay.
But it's a televised snooker tournament with all the
So
professionals.
you're going to be there with a sign that's like, "Hi, Mom."
Yeah. Stroke my balls. You know, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah. I bought 8 tickets last year, right?
Oh my goodness.
And I was reminded by a chap called Paul in about December, saying, "Oh, Mick, I'll give you the money for those tickets." And I went, "What tickets?" And he was like, "The tickets for the final." I was like, "I haven't bought them." He's like, "You bought them. I was with you when you bought them. You bought them." And I was like, "Did I?" And I looked through my emails. I was like, "Oh, bloody hell, yeah, I did."
I
And,
did buy them. How about that?
Yeah, about that. And then, yeah, so I've got 8 tickets, and the last one I'm struggling to. Well, no, I think I found a person for it, but you donate the ticket to one guy, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll let you know if I'm coming. I'll let you know
Right.
next week."
Yeah,
And next
never
week,
let you know.
Next week I'll let you know, and I gotta know my rota. I gotta know my rota. I'm like, all right. And then he finds out his roster. I was like, "I don't know. I'll have to have a word with the missus. I don't know." And then he has a word, and he's like, "I don't think I can come. I don't think
I can't make it.
And
Now
then I
gotta
asked
find
another
somebody else.
guy, and
Yeah.
he's basically.
Are there not people looking to buy scalp tickets when you get there? You
No,
make
it's
some money off
not
of it?
really. No, but like I asked another guy, and he's basically he's quite old. This other guy, and I knew it might be a no, but he's getting on a bit. So, and I says, "You don't even have to pay for it, Terry. Just bloody
Yeah,
go.
just
All right,
come by."
but he says he's not up for it. So I've got another chap, and he said he'll come along. I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's where we'll be.
So do you know what this is? Red Van Man said still buzzing as the Toon win. Is that some football thing?
The Toon. So Red Van Man is from the northeast. So he's from Newcastle, right?
Okay.
And Toon, Toon, is the way they say town. So Town. And
Okay.
I'm assuming that his local football soccer team have won. Now you have to be very careful
sense.
with people from the northeast about football because they're either Newcastle United, and this is me with my very limited knowledge on football
Right.
as well, or they're Sunderland. And I don't think Sunderland are a very good team at the moment. I might have just offended.
Well,
Red
that's
Van
why they
fans.
get excited when they win.
Yeah, maybe. But
Yeah.
Newcastle are a team. I think they're okay. So let me know if I've got that right, Red Van Man. But we can actually talk to the chat here because I have looked at the emails, Duke, and I don't know whether we should read them without Stu. But that means they won't get read out for another 2 weeks because then Stu might not read them next week. So maybe we should. I don't know.
I think we should. I mean, we got time.
We got.
We don't have any news, do we? I don't have any news.
I have got news actually.
Oh,
I have
okay.
got news.
Well, let's do a little news then.
Let's do a little news.
Putting news first.
Before you do that, though, I'll say that when I was in college, I had a friend who drank a lot of Newcastle Red Ale, and so I heard Newcastle, and I'm like, oh, Newcastle, I know Newcastle because of their fine red ale, but I don't know anything about them. Just that one export.
There was a bit of a leak.
Oh,
a bit of a leak.
Okay.
Let me have a look at
like
this.
an onion.
I've just got like the AI overview of what this was.
Oh boy.
So a leaked document from Microsoft's court case.
Brown ale. Thank you, Red Man.
Revealed
Yes,
plans
a court
for
case.
a mid-generation refresh of the Xbox Series S and X in 2024. But no, that's not it. Oh no, yeah, it is. Maybe. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Hold on,
Wait a
people.
minute.
Stand by.
Yeah, so
We're gathering the news.
So the gist of it is the next generation of Xbox could come as early as 2027, 2028. Right.
Oh my goodness.
So we are
ways off.
past the halfway point of this console
Yeah.
cycle already. The other big thing is they've talked about this before, where they've got machine learn based super resolution and AI to sort of like predict what's going to happen, all that sort of stuff. But the other thing that's been leaked is that Microsoft have been working on a handheld console.
Oh, okay.
And this
Take that,
is
Steam Deck.
to rival the Steam Deck. But the
Yeah.
weird thing is that they are working on their own hardware,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be made by them. But that won't be
Okay.
out for another 2 years.
Oh my goodness.
But they're going to have
So this is a very early leak.
third-party hardware developers. So like
Oh.
Lenovo and other, I don't know,
Okay.
people that make this
Yeah.
sort of shit. And there's a ton of
Right.
these already, like these Steam Deck things. Third-party people making handheld versions with
Right.
like a kind of Microsoft Xbox stamp of approval on it, going like,
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
we've tested this one checks.
Sure.
And essentially, what this is going to be, it's going to be a PC, a handheld PC.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
And it will, for me, what would interest me, what would get me to buy one, right? Because
Yeah.
at the moment, a Steam Deck downloads Steam, plays Steam games. I don't play
Right.
Steam, right?
Sure.
For me to buy one, if it played
Yeah.
Game Pass games,
Right.
but not over the cloud, if it had the juice in it
Yeah, yeah.
to play a Game Pass game,
Yeah, right.
that would get me. I think that would be like,
Sure.
yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that.
That would be great.
I don't know whether anybody else is interested in that.
I think for me, handhelds just aren't a thing. Like, I'm surprised I'm playing this Block Blast on my phone, because normally I'm either in gaming mode, which is when I'm at my PC, or I'm not, which is then I'm not playing video games.
Yeah.
And so having a handheld, when my PC was in the shop, I bought a Switch, but I didn't really even play it.
Well, I don't
just
even
had
like
it.
I don't even like handheld gaming that much. I've got a Switch. I don't play it that much. But that would make me buy one, because
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. But like,
It's a thing. Well, it's a thing you could do that you can't do right now.
yeah.
And for a small screen, it makes sense.
I'd take that to work with me, or I'd take that to when I've got to work away, like at a hotel and
Yeah,
stuff. And
right,
play that.
sure, yeah.
So that would be good. So I'm half interested, but I feel like what it will be actually is a lot of this cloud gaming stuff. Do you know what I mean? It'll be
Yeah.
incorporating that stuff. So anyway,
I
that's
think
the
that makes
only
sense.
real news that I've got. This
Yeah,
week,
I'm
so-
looking at Kotaku right now, and their top story is the Super Nintendo now runs infinitesimally faster than it did 35 years ago, and players are trying to find out why. So it's been a slow news week, apparently, for video games,
Yeah, that sounds like a slow.
just like last week.
Yeah.
So that means we should do our emails.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa, that ruled.
Okay, let me just check. I don't know if we read this one last week. Jason Gallagher.
I know we had one from him last week, but I don't remember.
He says,
like, what it
"Kiss
was
the
about.
corn." Does this ring any bells?
No, we didn't do that one last week. I think it was give peace a chance. So
Okay. This is from
Okay.
Jason. He says, "Kiss the corn." As far as new games coming, I feel like most of the good ones are closer to the end of the year. Blueprints seems like a good one to be coming on the 10th of April. Did we read that out last time? I think I did look at that.
okay.
Blueprints. Let me have a look. Blueprints video game. Did I look at this? Yes, I've looked at
By
this.
the way,
We've read
speaking
this
of
email.
emails, I got an email from Richard Webster here, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck, Richard
Wow.
Webster?" But it's just another person who happens to have the same name who
Oh.
works for a journalism company called ProPublica. So I was like, "Oh, well, I'll keep that to remind myself to mention it on the show."
Okay, we've read that email because I've checked that game out before.
Okay.
Right, okay, so Declan
Well then.
McCluskey sends an
All
email.
right, Declan.
He
Thank you,
says,
Declan.
Stew Logic,
Stu Logic.
play game and give up after 30 minutes because you don't like it. Review score, thumbs up, would recommend. What?
Okay.
And he says, stop siding with the journos, Stu, because you think they're cool. They don't even like games. Do we know what game he's talking about?
I don't recall.
Is it the
any
skiing game? What did we play last week?
No, that wasn't last week. Last week it was the game that. Oh, it was Sleeper Cell 2.
Oh, yeah, it could be that.
But we had
couldn't
skipped
it?
a week. Yeah.
Yeah, but it could be that. It does seem like the type of game that Stu would think is cool, but just would give up on.
Agreed.
I agree. Okay, this is one from Jason. It was sent 18 hours ago, so we definitely haven't read this one.
Okay.
Hey, veterans, do you remember when Jeff Goldblum stepped into the teleportation device with the fly? It was hard on Gina Davis, hard on the fly man, but even harder on the American taxpayers. At least that's what the Department of Government Efficiency claims. Over your heads? Is it over your head, Duke? Do you understand that?
I understand it. I don't want him talking about Doggy because it's a dumbass agency and it's not even a real agency.
Is that Doge?
Yeah, well, I call it Doggy because Kara Swisher calls it, and apparently Elon hates it.
Okay.
And anything Elon hates, I'm all for it.
Let's talk
Like
games.
his daughter.
I never admitted what my favourite game was last year because, well, I haven't finished it. But that game is Silent Hill 2. Nostalgia, admittedly playing a role. But most recent games can't capture its worth. Redone well, Stu is right, with headphones on, it's stupid scary. Have you seen the new Silent Hill F trailer? This game has the potential to be better than most by a long shot. Themes of beauty, the anxiety of not being enough. Cults. I like how he's just added cults in as just another
cults,
bullet point.
yeah, sure.
No, you've got.
Well, I'm into cults, so there.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes on. A dark ending? Question mark. Or the good ending of the acceptance. What does the letter F stand for in the title? Ambiguity rules. This one will be special. I've never even heard of Silent Hill.
I've not heard of it either.
Fuck yourself.
That's what it stands for.
He goes on. Do me a favour, please. Blue Prince is coming to Game Pass. Play my game, bitch. We will do that, Jason. We will play that for you when it comes out. Stu, Lex Luthor, mate. We won't read that because Stu's not very well, so it seems like it's in distaste. But he does say "hang in there," so like, he's giving Stu a bit of words of encouragement.
There you go. Hang in there, Stu.
These two would have caved without you. He's talking about me and you there, Duke.
Yeah.
Who would break in Chinny's new shoes, or share his onesies, or hold a Kleenex to his runny nose? Chinny, if you listen to new Bon Iver's songs and take some vitamin D, your sickness will go away, and then you will get back to enjoying McDonald's bathrooms again. I don't know what that is. By the way, Man in Me is the best Dylan song. Lebowski. Duke, once you sign up for the Dark Brotherhood, you'll never leave.
I mean, so he sent me an email about the Oblivion remake, and he said we can go back to Windhelm, and I was like, I don't remember going to Windhelm and Oblivion, but apparently you do. I don't know. He says you do because that's where you join the Dark Brotherhood. But, okay.
Who knows?
Okay.
There are some other emails. Thanks for the emails, by the way.
Yeah, thanks, people. We appreciate you being in touch.
We do try to read them.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit taken off here because Alex Green wrote in last week about our favourite meal, and he's wrote in again.
Yes.
So Alex Green says, Dear veterans, I ended up downloading Watch Dogs Legion because it was on Game Pass. And I ended up
that's what we played.
Finding the Kick Up minigames. I mentioned that, didn't I? The Kick Up minigame.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is Keepy Uppy. Keep the football. He's putting brackets after Keepy Uppy. Keep the football in the air as possible. We got it, Alex. We understand.
I think we can follow you here.
I know Duke's an American, but I think he can follow the narrative.
I think that name is the type that is easy to kind of intuit. If it were called Boggle My Nuts, then I would be a little more lost. But
there are some
pretty straightforward.
British football or games that make no sense. Anyway, Alex goes on to say, I'm crap at it, but I really like playing it. It's a very addictive minigame. One of my favourite minigames is Dominoes in Red Dead 2. I have a save file at the start of Chapter 2 and play Dominoes with the campmates. I play that from time to time. I was just wondering, what are your favourite mini games in video games? Ah, thanks for reading, Alex Green.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate that. I'm trying to think of some that I really like, and I don't know if anything really comes to mind.
I enjoyed the poker in Red Dead 2. That's fun because you sort of playing poker in the Wild West is like it's one of the coolest things, isn't it? So I enjoyed that.
I agree.
Yeah, it's hard to think of them, isn't it?
Hard to think of them on the fly. I'll probably think of one on Wednesday of this week or something.
I've just googled best mini games in.
I mean, obviously there's Gwent, there's Caravan in Fallout New Vegas, which both
any like best mini games in GTA games, and the golf in GTA 5 is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean they ended up making a lot of like basically
golf game.
Perfectly cromulent it's golf. Like
in GTA 4, you can play pool, which I quite enjoy.
Yeah, I remember there's bowling in GTA 4.
Yeah, everybody remembers there's bowling because you're asked to go bowling every 5 minutes in GTA 4.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there is darts. There's darts in GTA 5 as well. So I would say pool. Anytime pool is played, or snooker, obviously, but to get snooker in a GTA game would be a bit of an ask. So yeah, I would say GTA 4's pool for mine, Alex Green. Thank you very much for writing in. We got another email here. Jesus, we've got quite a few actually. Hold on. This one involves
all the emails.
This one involves a quiz.
Stu sent me the sound clip.
Is this
quiz,
by David Thatcher?
David Thatcher, yeah.
Shall we leave that one for when we're all back together?
Yeah, we can do that with Speak Pipes. Yep.
So, okay, brilliant.
Don't worry, we're coming to it, David. Thank you.
Well, no, should we leave that one till because if it's a quiz, then should we leave it when Stu?
Because Stu should be here. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, David. It looks like you've done stuff, and we'll
do
appreciate that.
In a couple of weeks. Yeah.
We'll do it in a couple of weeks.
Or maybe Stu will do it next week if he has. But I guess.
No. I think we should do it in all three of us.
We should do it the three of us.
Okay. So. We've got an email from John Collins.
John Collins, good old John.
Getting the emails, enjoying the emails, Stu.
Yeah, thank you, people. We love people being in touch.
Hello there. I've played both Plague Tales games, and now I've finished them. I've got post-game depression. This happens to me from time to time whenever I finish a game. It takes about 2 or 3 weeks before I can start anything new. You learn the controls, the game mechanics. You get into the world building and the characters and the story, and then you finish. It's over. You've played it. You've enjoyed it.
It's over.
I still think about it, but now it's over. I have no reason to play again. But then when you start playing something new, you try the controls of the previous game you play, and obviously the controls aren't the same for every game you play, and it's more frustrating for me. Do you get post-game depression, and what would you recommend to get past it? There's loads of games on my backlog, but this makes it worse.
See, it's interesting. I don't have that kind of depression. What I have is like it's the end of something that I'm used to. You know what I mean? Like I'm used to something. I'm enjoying it. I just want to keep playing that. And it, obviously, story-based games, you come to the end of the story, and that's the end of it, right? Yeah. I think the last time I really had that was because I don't really play a lot of games that have a definitive end anymore. But the last one I had was that I remember was Return to Grace, because that was just such an interesting story for me that when I finished that, I was like, oh man, I want there to be more there. You know what I mean? Like I wish they had done another game like that. But I do relate to the fact that, like you get used to stuff. And so you don't, and that's why I just kind of keep playing the same shit over and over again. Like I know the world of New World. I know how the game works. I don't get post-game depression because I don't have games that have a post. I just start right over again. Yeah. So I'm a little weird in that sense, I guess.
For me, I only get it when I'm really enjoying it. So the only examples I can think of are GTA games. I got depressed the other day. And when I say depressed, I got a little sad when I was thinking about GTA 6. And then I thought, I'm probably going to be 55 when GTA 7 comes out. This is awful. Do you know what I mean? And
if you're lucky,
if I'm
get
lucky,
it out that fast.
So it's like, God, I do get sad when a GTA game comes to an end, just because they're so infrequent these days. And any Rockstar game. So when Red Dead 2 was finishing, I was getting anxious. It's like I was losing someone, because I was like, this is it. I'm going to play everything in the game, which was funny, because when I finished playing it in 2018, I came back to it in 2020 during lockdown, and I found a ton of stuff that I hadn't done. And there was the online, so I sort of did pick it up again. But the good thing, which is something that we've discovered on this show, is that after about 10 years, you sort of forget it anyway. And which is why Stu and I started playing games that are over 10 years old, because genuinely, a game that's over 10 years, when you play it again, I played all the Mass Effect trilogy. It was like playing it fresh. So the good news is, John, that after 10 years, know that you could come back to the Plague Tale.
Go back to those Plague Tales.
Yeah, and just play them again. And you probably won't remember much about them. And they'll just be as good. So that's what I say for most games that you have enjoyed. I've still got to play all the original GTAs. GTA 4, which is my favourite. GTA 5, I've never really played twice. I've only played once, and that was 2013 when it came out.
Interesting.
So there's tons. If I wanted to rekindle it, and go back and, oh God, I love that game. I can. Red Dead 1 I've only played once. Red Dead 2 I've only played once.
There you go.
So you think about it, after, and we're getting close to 10 years to Red Dead 2. This is how depressing it is. And my backlog is massive. So, but it's always nice to know that I can. If I'm just not feeling games anymore, I can just go back and just play something that I know that I'm going to love. So, yeah.
That's right. And maybe there'll be a remaster of it before long.
I doubt it.
You don't need it, but...
You don't need it. So that's from John. Thanks, John.
Thanks,
you
John.
can email the show at vgpodcastuk@gmail.com.
VGpodcastuk
@gmail.com. So we do appreciate the emails. We like the emails.
We do. We love being
nice
people
to
being
know
in
that
touch,
people
asking questions.
are listening and stuff, doesn't it?
That's right. And care enough to write some stuff, and care enough to send in quizzes.
So I think.
What else do they send in, Shinny?
That's it. That's it.
No, they send other things in sometimes.
Oh, speak pipes.
There is a speak pipe.
Speak pipe. Speak pipe. It's the way to leave an
I don't want no part of your tight-ass country club, you freak, bitch!
How many have you got?
Just the one.
I think there's another one.
Oh? Stu sent me one from St. Diesel. There's another one. You can forward it to me.
No, it might be that one.
Okay. Do you speak of my language?
Yeah, it's that one. Yeah.
I think that might be a reference to men in hats. All right, here is the speak pipe from St. Diesel 745.
Hey, veteran gamers, St. Diesel back again. One of the things revealed in the recent Pokemon Direct was that the Pokemon games
I can't hear it very well.
different languages.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know why it's so quiet.
Is it the way he's recorded it?
I think it's the way he's recorded it.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. We'll
So
deal
I'm
with it.
back it up a little bit and just keep playing. I'll increase it in the mix when I do the editing.
Something I'd really been thinking back again. One of the things revealed in the recent Pokemon Direct was that the Pokemon games are now 10 different languages. And it wasn't something I'd really been thinking about beforehand, but I was thinking in the West we probably take for granted that most, if not all, video games are in an English language or have English subtitles or an English language option. I know a lot of Japanese games are still in Japanese and they have to read subtitles, but what if some of your favourite games were made by a foreign developer and you had to read subtitles? So, for instance, what if GTA 5 was made by a Spanish developer and it had Spanish language only and you had to read subtitles? Or maybe Skyrim was made in Norway, had Norwegian language and you had to read English subtitles? Or Deadly Premonition, what if that was made by a Greek developer and only had Greek language and English subtitles? You can insert your own joke here. But that's my question, I guess. What if your favourite game, or some of your favourite games, were in a foreign language and you had to read subtitles? How would that affect your feelings towards it? I'm Rosa, I'm Reiner, I'm Especially. I wish I was back at the
Okay. Well, I will say this about subtitles. Many years ago, I was in a bowling league as a single person, and when you do that, they pair you up with other people. So I was put on a team with this guy who, he was like whatever you imagine, like kind of a redneck. He called himself a redneck, so I'll call him that. Like whatever you imagine a redneck's like, but he's like a scrawny, scrappy building construction redneck.
Yeah.
Like that was this guy. So at one point I had seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. This was how long ago that was, right? Like that movie had just come out and I saw it. I loved it. And I talked to everybody I saw about it. And I was like, you didn't see Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, did you? And he's like, what the hell is that? I was like, it's the new Kung Fu movie. He's like, oh yeah, I saw about that. Fuck that shit. I don't want to read while I'm watching a movie. I was just like, okay, well, never mind. But I actually don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
It's subtitles. Yeah.
Yeah, I watch a lot of stuff with subtitles, and I know it contradicts like me talking about reading, but it's different because you got visuals going at the same time. So
yes,
no, it wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't bother me at all. No, I could easily play. I suppose subtitles with a video game is a bit harder because you've got to interact with the game, whereas with the show you don't have to. But no, if the game's there, it's all about gameplay for me. It's all about gameplay.
Yeah, exactly.
So to answer your
and
question,
like
yeah,
I think it would be cool. I should try doing this. Like putting as I'm trying to learn Spanish, so like putting a game onto the Spanish language and then having English subtitles could be very interesting because then I might pick up some of the language as I play. Yeah. But I keep telling myself I should watch The Simpsons with Spanish language subtitles so I can learn some Spanish. Yeah. But I just never. It's more work. And it's the thing. It's like we were watching the 100 Years of Solitude show on Netflix, which is really good. When we eat dinner. When you eat dinner while you're watching a movie, you can look down to eat and listen to the movie, right? But if it's subtitled, you got to keep your eyes on the screen, and it's kind of frustrating. So that's the only thing that annoys me about subtitles.
I agree. Right. Well, thank you very much, Derek, for the speak pipe. Duke, I can hear my baby crying, so I'm going to go soon. So I think we
got to wrap it up.
We got to wrap it up. So we managed to get a show in the end.
We did get a show out, and it's an hour and a half. So
no, it
is what it is.
No, it's about 2
well,
hours.
no, there was a period of time when you were gone, and I mean, that wasn't 30 minutes though. No, that was only like 10 minutes. So yeah, we managed to make it about 2 hours.
We got a show out of it anyway. So we hope
we found a way to talk for enough time.
That was okay. No, it was fine. It's just like I can hear the baby crying, and it's hurting me.
Sure.
It's hurting
Let's do some shout outs real quick.
Shout out.
It's time for a shout out. Hey!
I'll do the easy one. I'll shout out everybody that's been in the chat tonight. So Red Van Man, Antonio, Blake, Soul Brother, Tainted Brain, Sealy, Chill Robots, and Steve Pemberton. Thank you very much for turning up. We've got a few people in the chat. Thanks to everybody that emailed. Declan, Jason
Gullahar, as always. And I'll shout out Jason for sending me the information about the Oblivion remaster.
Alex, John Collins, Alex Green, David Thatcher. Sorry, we haven't done your quiz, but we'll do it when we're all together.
Do it next week.
Thank you very much.
Or the week after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's it. We done.
Bye.
All right, show's over. No refunds. You heard the robot. Get out.
Won't you?
Mr. Nightlaw, shout out to you.
All right, dude. Good luck with your baby.
Quality, not quantity. Thank you very much, Sean. Yeah, I've got to go because I can just hear him
quantity.
screaming,
Yeah,
so,
it's all good.